Hey, what's happening? We here. Welcome to another episode of Hope. We excited. We about to continue our journey on another class and helping us gain more knowledge and get more understanding on this journey of entrepreneurship. So we got another exciting class tonight. This month has been pretty fiery in terms of our understanding of how to push ourselves through entrepreneurship and how to get better as entrepreneurs. And the whole goal of this is to break your comfort zone. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable. If you are comfortable in this class or comfortable at home watching, then we not doing our jobs. That's the plain and simple part of it. Point blank period. So in order for us to grow, there has to be some uncomfortability. There are going to have to be some points to where it hits you in certain places where you ain't feeling it, or you don't like it, or you disagree with it. And that's how we open a dialogue for understanding and clarity. So blind spots are blind spots for a reason. You literally don't know you have it, and you literally can't see it. So if somebody pointed something out to you that was a blind spot for you, the only difference in a lot of people's ability to agree or disagree is trust, ego. If I trust you and my ego's low enough, then I'm going to acknowledge it. Really? That's there? But if those two things can't coexist at the same time, then a lot of times we walk around with these glaring blind spots. And so entrepreneurship is truth. It's closest to the wild is truth. And we say, hey, you got a blind spot right there. And it may have not have affected you so far, but in the wild, it's going to fuck you up. So you better get that taken care of. So, and what we're trying to break down is our first mind's response. A lot of times, like, what? No, I don't. No, yeah, that's our job. So we're gonna push you and prod you and make you uncomfortable and challenge you to see things in a certain way, a way that entrepreneurs see it, so that it gives you some options, more optionality. So we want to get into, we're going to ask some more questions. That's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into a few more questions and open up a little more dialogue so that we can have good discussion. So first question. What does objective versus subjective reality mean? That's the question. So, what we looking like online?
No question, no answers yet.
Okay, so
slight delay.
So, all those at home, the question is, what does objective versus subjective reality mean?
All right, we got Ken May.
Can you turn Shakina's mic on?
Test. There we go. Kaja says fact-based versus based on thoughts and feelings.
Fact-based versus based on thoughts and feelings. So this is you're close, Kaja. So this one is also a very fundamental piece of how we move in entrepreneurship. Objective reality versus subjective reality. Subjective reality is it's true based on the observer. It could be true based on the observer. Remember, there was a illustration that Nana talked about a while ago about this elephant, and they put there was blind people who are at different parts of the elephant, and one was at the trunk, one was at the tail, one was at his, one was on his skin. It was all different places, and they asked each person what were they touching. Don't do it, Scott. What were they touching? And so every person had a different story based on where they were on the elephant. Now, was it not reality? Of course it was. But it was subjective reality based on the observer. Same thing that happens a lot. A lot of times we believe certain things based on our objective. I mean, based on our position and our perspective, looking at the situation. So, yeah, that could be true for you, but it may not be true for him. If we build our businesses on subjective reality, that's how we catch L's. That's how we catch L's, because you liked it. You thought it was dope. You believed in it. It was the dopest thing you ever seen. It gave you goosebumps. It made hair on the back of your neck stand up. So if that is our only understanding of reality, we think that's all there is. But there's always objective reality. And we have, as entrepreneurs, we got to step on the side of objective reality. That's why we say the hardcore shit. What's our bank account looking like? How much do I weigh? What's my friend relationships look like? What's my mental health? What is the score? Well, really, don't look at the score, because that really doesn't tell the whole story. Look at the score. You know what I'm saying? Like, objective reality is things that we can prove in court. Things that don't change. Like that. So those two things are distinctive, and we have to understand the objective reality side of the world and move in that world. You know, a lot of times in objective reality, a lot of times your answers are going to be, shit, I don't know. I got to do some research. I'm not sure. It depends. It's not everybody. It's a few people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Sydney had commented and said that it's the difference between reality versus up for interpretation.
Yeah, that's a great one. Another word for subjective reality can be interpretation. You know, I believe we're in an era right now of I believe. Not this is the truth. In my mind, it's this. Well, is it in your mind or is it in everyone's mind, because it's objective? This is a fundamental. Next one.
Am I reading?
Sure.
Okay. What are the 5 steps of the entitlement trap?
Now this is a tough one. This you would have to go into your notes for.
I remember some of them.
I've taught this maybe like 4 or 5 times.
I don't remember all of them, but I do remember some of them.
Well, whatever you remember, fill in the puzzle if you can.
So I remember that there was appreciation or gratitude. Was the first
Appreciation.
step.
Number one. First step is appreciation. So let me paint the picture. The entitlement trap, right? That is the thing when people start getting entitled. It tends to be a trap, and not everybody is born into the entitlement trap. There's stages to how they get there. And this is fucking critical as an entrepreneur in order for you to stay grounded, in order for you to stay a good steward, in order for you to stay a good student. It's important and to be able to watch yourself in these stages. So the first stage is appreciation, which means, man, I'm just so grateful for this. Oh, I'm just like, I haven't had a meal in 6 days, and now I got this meal. Oh, I'm so grateful. I appreciate you so much, so much. I'm indebted to you forever. Like, what can I do for you? Oh, it's your here's a birthday present. Oh, here's an anniversary present. Here's a book. That's appreciation. Then after you get 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meals, then it goes to number 2.
Which is like expecting, like, or the
close, but number 2 is anticipation.
okay.
You got 7 meals in a row, you start anticipating the 8th. You start anticipating the 9th. It's about time it should be coming right about now. So that, oh, thank you, appreciation movement starts to slowly dissipate because you clicked into a different stage, and that's anticipation. Thank you. Good looking. Yeah, appreciate it. That goes to thanks. Good looking. Appreciate it. Right on. Then it goes to step 3, what you're talking about. What's that?
Expecting.
Expecting. Where's my shit? Where's the dinner at? Where's that? It's supposed to come every time 7 o'clock and it's 7:01. Where's it at? Damn, hella late. Expectation now. You didn't even say thank you this time. You didn't even say thanks. You didn't even say good looking. Now, step 4 is entitlement. I'm entitled to this. I can't even explain to you why. But I'm entitled to it. Every time it's like, this is mine. And the last step is dependency. Now, that's how a lot of movements get started. Once you get dependent, now you're a dope fiend. And I don't mean drugs. That means, damn, whatever thing that was going dried up, whatever money movement that happened that dried up, now I'm doing OnlyFans. Now I'm selling dope. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing that because I deserve to be where I was, and I'm willing to compromise my morals, my values, and my beliefs in order to maintain the entitlement expectation because I'm dependent on it like a drug. That's what makes this shit dangerous. Many people will compromise their values and their integrity once they move past entitlement. That's why this is a fucking basic, and it's so important for you to watch because there's going to be moments in time where as businesses go like this, that you might be tempted when it goes like this because maybe you had a good ass hype cycle. Now you think you deserve to be at the top of this hype cycle at all times. Because you expect the customers to come, you expect the money to come, you anticipate it, it comes. So then if something happens and you go down here, if you aren't keeping track of this and understand how this works, then instead of going back up to appreciation, now you're at dependency and now you're compromising your values. Fuck, it happens to the best of them. That's why this is a core basic. Next one. But good
What-
job, Shakina. You had 2 of them.
What are the 4 types of conscious leadership?
It's another one you have to go back to your notes.
Through me,
Wait, hold on. What?
by me,
Uh-huh.
to me.
Uh-huh.
I forget the third.
Start with an A.
I forget.
As me. Good job, though. As me. Good job.
My internet keeps signing out.
Oh, okay. All right. Next slide.
Keeps signing out.
I'm not good.
All right.
Read the next one real quick.
What is the Johari window?
Give you a couple seconds to figure that out.
Just wait for people online.
Give you
Oh, Kasha got him too. I
What?
just got back online. And so did Sydney.
Oh, dope. Good job. Good job, Kaja and
Kasha and
Sydney.
Sid. Yep.
Josh got one of them wrong.
Oh, sorry. To me, through me, by me. Oh, for me. Kaja says she loves the Johari window.
Love it. Yes, the Johari window is
The 4 quadrants.
so important as a basic. So important. So, so I would say this. What's one of the boxes in the Johari window? Or it's two words from one box actually. Let's talk about it. What is it?
Oh my God.
Hey. What is it? I wish I could get up and draw it.
You got your 4 quadrant boxes. I am logging back in.
So there's 4 quadrant boxes in the Johari window. One of the boxes is what is known to yourself and known to others, meaning you can see it and other people can see it,
Yeah, blind spots.
right? The next one over to the right is where it's not known to self, which means other people can see it, but you can't. It's called a blind spot.
And then the unknown.
And then below that is other people can't see it, but you can. That's your dark side. That's your shadow side. That's the shit you do in the dark. Can't nobody see. And then to the right of that is what you can't see and what others can't see. So the most important piece of this game is all 4. The know thyself part. Know thyself. The front side of you is what everybody can see. Oh man, I love this dude, man. He's so cool. Nicest dude in the world. You ever watch after something happened on TV, maybe it was maybe it was some kind of school shooting or something like that was horrible, and they interview people who knew the shooter. And there are times when people say, I knew it was gonna happen. Dude was off. I knew it was gonna happen. That's because who he was and what people saw, they saw him in that left corner of that Johari window. But the kid who killed the CEO of Big Pharma, people were like, oh, that kid was so nice and so honest, so sweet. I could never have even imagined him doing that. He'd give me the shirt off his back. That's because the known to others side was bright, but not known to others, they couldn't see his shadow side. There was a shadow side to him. So this Johari window allows you to understand yourself, to know what your dark sides and shadows are, but also helps you realize I got blind spots that I can't see. The best part about this shit is when people call you out on shit, they're saving you. They're moving all the shit that's in your blind spots, they're moving it over into healthy parts of your personality. But we don't like to get called out on blind spot shit that we don't, I don't want to hear that. That ain't cool. Nope, that's not true. No, I disagree. No. What we trying to do is scoot all of that shit over from your blind spot on over here to where you can see it, address it, and get better.
Sydney summarized it pretty well. He said, I remember the keywords for the window being open, hidden, unknown, and blind spots.
Yeah. Man, come on. Like, this is fundamental for entrepreneurship. You look like you need a microphone. This is fundamental for entrepreneurship. We can't build businesses without this.
Does not getting feedback is that also saying something?
Hell
Is it something
yeah.
we should pay attention to?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Not getting feedback is feedback. Especially if you look in the mirror and be like, y'all let me go out looking like this? Yeah, because shit, you don't listen. Tired. Or it's an aspect of our personalities that pushed people off so much that they stopped trying. Fuck that shit. Like, you just gonna have to go out there and look crazy.
There's a question online.
You better bring up, because she going crazy.
Kaja asked, aren't people's perceptions of your blind spots subjective? Why should we treat that as possible truth?
Let's piggyback on that before I answer it, because you got something to say too.
Well, I think what Kaja just asked can go hand in hand. Because what
I felt that.
if the conversation flow is, okay, before when I've given feedback and we dialogue, whatever I'm taking from the way that we dialogue, I wasn't ready for that, the direction. Like, I get accused of being an overthinker. Oh, why you go there? And I'm like, ain't that, because I saw exit. You didn't see a star? Maybe if you just, I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking.
No, okay. So here we go.
Like, okay, let me clear it. The dialogue, in the dialogue that they give you feedback, you start to dialogue, and then it becomes, I wanted to go here with you and stay there. Now you've gone in a different direction, and I don't know how to follow that.
Okay. There's a Courtney answer, and there's an answer that I think that needs to be said. The question was, isn't it subjective when somebody gives you feedback? So you have to kind of, basically you're saying take it with a grain of salt, because the answers people giving you are subjective. The answer is, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Because you didn't even know it was there. So it was a blessing, first of all, that somebody pointed something out to you that was in your blind spot. So first thing is, oh man, feedback loop on a blind spot. Whew. Thank you. So if you're going to overthink in analyzing what was said to a point to where it can improve your value. That's it. Doesn't mean you move it in here and like be depressed about it. Doesn't mean that you allow it to break you and hurt you. It's feedback, and it's good feedback. It's good feedback, because no feedback is horrible for you. That means you got to continue walking this earth looking, acting, behaving crazy. And somebody, whether they liked you, hated you, or loved you, just tipped you off on something. They tipped you off on a blind spot. Thank you. Okay, let me analyze that. What is it in my behavior where I mirrored and matched that energy? And what can I do to improve? Thank you. Give me more. Tell me more about that. Doesn't matter whether it's subjective or objective. Because there are things that are objective and there are things that are subjective. Every human being that you interact with, their knowledge and their feedback will be subjective. Because there's nobody on this planet that is all-knowing and has all objective feedback. They can only give you feedback from their perspective. So it's subjective from that perspective. But does it mean it's not valuable? Fuck yes, it's valuable. Absolutely valuable. Absolutely. Here's an example. If you ever hear the analogy to a construction worker, every problem is, I'm maybe saying it wrong, but to a construction worker, every solution to a problem is a hammer. Yeah, so for a hammer, every solution is a nail. If somebody's in construction, it makes sense, right? To a hooper, every analogy is a basketball analogy, right? To a photographer, every solution is a picture. Does that mean in their perspectives there are not they don't have value in those perspectives? It just comes from their perspectives. If I go to a pastor for a problem, more than likely he's going to crack open the Bible, right? If I go to a psychologist for that same problem, more than likely they're going to refer to some psychology book. Does that not mean, though, that those perspectives aren't valuable? You see what I'm saying? They are just hues. And once you get enough perspectives, then it gives you the puzzle piece to that blind spot you need to fix. But no perspective at all? Shit, you fucked. Favorite thing that teachers used to tell me: Court, why do you not turn in work? A 0 is way, even if you don't know. I'd be like, because I don't know the shit. And they say, but a 40 is way better than a 0. A 50, a F is way better than a 0 F. Meaning, even if I had a limited amount of subjective reality, is way better for me. Because now I'm just 60% away from 100 versus 100. And that's the thing with this answer. So we stop doing that. Every feedback from every human you get is going to be subjective, and it's all valuable. It's just how you use it. If you are triggered by any feedback, then it's not going to fucking come through, and it can't be valuable to you. You have to allow it in and say, is that true? How can I use that? How can I get better from that? Thank you. First of all, thank you. Give me more. And if anything comes off that makes you feel like I'm defending myself against this feedback or pushing this feedback out, I apologize off the gate, because that's not where I'm going, because I'm just triggered, but I need this feedback. I need it. See what I'm saying? I was at the gym this morning. I'm doing deadlifts. A 67-year-old man comes up to me and said, "Hey man, you should probably change your hands thing and do this. And, you leaning too forward." And I look at him and look at me and I say, "You know what? How should I do it? Show me how you want me to do it." I could have easily been like, "Man, get out of my face. Like I can put you on this motherfucker. Show me," but I said, "Show me how to do it." And he gave me some good feedback. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I like that. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Like I just been doing this a long time, so I just a little tweak." Man, thank you, OG. Blind spot. It's a blind spot. I just don't want you to fuck your back up. I appreciate that, OG. Blind spot. Or I'll be in this class talking about, "Man, my back hurt. I'm still in the gym trying to get." See what I'm saying? Any other questions?
Let me say something real quick. There's a danger in adding all this emotional attention to feedback. Innovation, we got to bring emotions down to make innovation works. As long as you got to argue to achieve innovation, you got to give feedback. And you even have to say some personal shit to achieve innovation. But if everybody's guarded at the table, like social justice have actually produced, social justice have produced a culture that can't innovate because everybody's too fucking sensitive or defensive. Feedback is a strategical dialogue. So if I told Court, "Hey Court, I think you're doing this wrong," Court can't be scared to ask me a question and see where my insights are coming from, because he's trying to protect how I feel and I'm trying to protect how he feel, and this is hidden dance where we're trying to protect each other's feelings. So then we're coding and limiting our feedback because I don't want to hurt your feelings or offend you. But guess what we're also doing? We're slowing down growth. At some point, I should be able to say, "Court, yo man, that's a horrible idea, bro." And then he goes, "Why?" And then I say, "Well, because he goes, well, where'd you get that information from?" And maybe I'm making an assumption. Maybe I'm feeling some kind of bitter way because he cut me in line when we was going to get a cup of coffee, right? But we got to get to the point for us to have a healthy discussion around feedback and utilize it correctly. You can't start with defense, and the person giving feedback has to be prepared to have a conversation about it. Because if I tell you, "Hey, you're off, but I don't want to talk to you because I might offend you," I left you with no more information than I did before. If anything, I left you with shame. But a lot of times, I won't go beyond that point because you too fucking sensitive. Because I have to speak a certain way and make sure I get every word right just to tell you fucking up.
Hell no.
That is crazy to me. Like at some point, I should be able to say "you fucking up," and then we get in discussion on how to move forward. Like also too, we've been training our brain for so long to try to fix the past. So if I tell you you did something wrong last week, your brain goes, "Well, how can I fix it? How can I go back and fix it?" It's the past, people's gone. So our next part of our conversation is, how do we, next time this occurs, what can we do differently to move forward? And so I think when I'm watching black people who are defensive gauge feedback, it's ugly. It's the most ugliest shit. It's like, I'm Nana, I'm a him, and I just want to tell you, but I don't want to tell you because you have freedom that, like, shut the fuck up. Like literally, like it's getting to a point that it's ineffective. there has to be a freedom of dialogue and debate and disagreement and challenges, and your value should never be on trial if I'm going back and forth with you to try to help you.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're going to have to mature, which is the basics, which we've been covering all this time. If we don't work on this maturity, I'm going to, and I won't show this later, I won't make this argument for the next 3 weeks. Our emotions will kick us out the game before we even get started.
Yeah. And real quick, just question in your mind. Remember we talked about the Kobe training thing and the training 4 times a day versus training twice a day? Remember that? So let's flip that. If 2 people have been entrepreneurs for 10 years, and person number 1, anytime they get feedback, it takes them 3 days to calm down from being pissed off. 3 days. And after those 3 days, they may or may not even process it. Or they may process it in a way that's like, man, they hating, or fuck, or I guess he was right, or shit. Fuck that. They don't know what they talking about. They don't believe in me. But person number 2 immediately absorbs the feedback, immediately. And thinks, how can they make that improvement? They don't got to learn nothing else in this class, nothing at all in this class, but those are the 2 distinctions. One takes feedback immediately and processes it and makes the improvement and continues. And this person is in his or her feelings for 2 or 3 days because they felt disrespected, triggered, whatever. Who is going to get there faster? Who's going to get there faster? Because it's a this. So in 10 years, can you in your mind's eye see where both of those people are? Just that one skill set alone. That's how important this is. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you're building a business though, and the feedback that you've been given helps add value to your business, I feel like it's easier to implement if you have a service-based business, or a goods-based business versus a service-based business. In service-based businesses, you have to take into account your customer, and if that feedback or the adjustment that you need to make you think is counterproductive to your base and you're providing a service, how do you navigate?
It's the same. It's no different. Product, service. It's understanding the value of context over content. So just like you said earlier, is no feedback? That's feedback. It's because it's context. So feedback is valuable. It's your gold for every single business on this planet. No different. And your job as an entrepreneur is to always be looking for documenting feedback so that you can make tiny tweaks to improve your business, because it's a business. It ain't about you. Business means I want to engage in a transfer of currency for a product or service. So now you're outreaching to someone else. If we want to be self-sustaining, we grow our own food. We got chickens and cows and all this shit, and we got solar panels on our house and all this shit that we don't need other people. But the minute you say, I want to start a business, that involves other people. So your feedback loops have to be robust at that point, and really be asking for feedback. But you got to prime it in a way so that the loop of your feedback is smooth. Not cut it. Not, you're not my customer. That ain't shit. Because guess what? People are going to stop coming. They're going to stop giving you feedback. They just won't say anything, but they just won't come. They won't come back. Or they won't listen to what you're doing. They won't ask you for your services. They'll just get quiet on you. And like I said, a 0 is worse than 50. So a 0 is getting quiet on you because now you don't know why you ain't fucking making money, why you ain't selling, because the customers are giving you nothing. That's worse. Any kind of emotion can help you. If a customer is angry, oh, okay, that's something. Angry. That means they on the backside of that, they had high expectations. They had some sort of emotion, a good emotion for us, for it to turn into anger. That's what I'm saying. Every feedback, subjective or not, is good because now that's better than a 0. Does that make sense? I can't drive this shit home harder than enough.
Let me add this too. When you can calm down, so I think some of people are looking at feedback as your parents scolding you, and it's kind of a mirror of that process. But when you calm down, you can ask great questions. So let's say a customer comes in, and they're not your customer, but they're also a potential new market, and they say, "Well, this didn't happen." You say, "Huh? So can I ask you a question?" And what that is doing is because what you're trying to do is you're trying to mine the feedback for something you can actually use or something you can think about later. Or if you have a conversation, say with court later on, you would say, then me and the customer talked about this, which gives him context, then for you to have another layer of feedback, right? I think what most of us are thinking about is somebody telling you good, bad, and you go, oh, you feel ashamed and you tucking your tail and running to the back room, and now you feel like I worked so hard, no one appreciates me. What I'm saying is that feedback is a dance, and it's a dance of humility. You don't attack a customer when they says, hey, I think your business sucks. You don't be like, well, fuck, I think you suck. Like, that's not feedback. But you can say, hey, well, tell me why. What would I do different? What would you suggest to do different? Where have you had a different experience like this? Because I can learn from that, right? Now, it might just be, there will be cases when because you can talk with a customer. Every once in a while, you discover a customer going, because I just don't like you. Okay, then I don't know what to do with this right now, right? It's going to get a little weird because there are mental distortions. But sometimes also, too, what may be a mental distortion may be a distortion of you can't see the market they're discussing or the opportunity they're discussing. So if you can calm your emotions down on the first level of feedback and not play this defensive, guarded, I gotta, whatever, and realize that it is a gift for your customer, it doesn't mean you can't explore the gift.
Good shit. Next slide. Stress plus nutrients equals. Stress plus nutrients equals. Don't you?
Stretching.
That's on YouTube now.
Anybody on the line?
I give it a second there, slight
30
delay.
seconds behind.
Okay. This is another one of those hope basics. Important to know. Drive this home. Stress plus nutrients
Somebody
equals.
online got it.
Yep.
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 Grab that mic.
That's not doing bad.
Is it on? Hello?
He's mad.
Yeah.
I would say growth.
Hell yeah. Growth.
Yeah.
Stress plus nutrients equals growth. Stress by itself equals death. Nutrients by itself equals death. That's the beauty of this game. So you can't say, if you say, man, entrepreneurship, man, is stressful, that's what creates the growth. It's part of the game. Remember, it's all gravity, baby. It's all gravity.
You understand me?
That's the gravity of the game.
Yeah.
That's the gravity of the game. Without the stress, the nutrients by itself, you'll end up in that entitlement trap so fucking fast that you'll die. Too much stress, the same thing happens. It's a nice balance between the two. That's why a plant, the harshness of the sun toughens it up. And as soon as it gets weak, somebody's watering it. Oh man, roots go down. Then once they stop watering, it starts getting dry. Guess what the plant does? It's like, I need to deepen my roots to find water. And then what happens? It gets watered. And all those roots get all that water and makes the plant grow stronger. And that cycle happens every single day. But with just the harsh sun, withers, dies. Just nutrients, the chemical reaction of the watering causes overwatering and chemical, they call it root lock. I won't tell you where I learned that game from. And now you got a dead plant too. So, important basic. Next slide.
What's the difference
Ooh.
between speed and velocity?
Okay. What's the difference between speed and velocity? Let's wait. Let's wait a little bit.
Hold it.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. This-
I use this one. I reference this one a lot.
Yeah.
Lot. Oh my God, a lot.
Anybody online?
Not yet.
Oh.
I think it's still catching up.
Go ahead. Huh?
I think it's still like
Okay.
there's a 30-second delay,
Okay.
so I think it's no response.
I love this shit.
Me too.
I don't know about y'all, but I love this shit. I love this entrepreneurship. I love learning this shit. Huh? What?
Is it an exact word or can it just be a description?
Oh, it can be a description. Yeah.
So results, it's in the results, right? In the production of a thing, the difference between speed and velocity. Because you can go fast and not getting, I mean, you may not be getting anywhere. There may not be growth from it.
You're scratching on some of the outskirts of the edges.
There's movements online too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For me, what came up was the difference between being busy and being intentional.
Now you
And-
opening the door. You opening the door. Yeah.
We don't lie.
Online, Kaja said moving fast versus moving intentionally towards a goal or objective. And Daphne said how fast versus how effective.
Close.
I could be wrong, but my take is speed is a rate of constant movement, velocity is a rate of change in movement.
Velocity. Go ahead, Shakina.
Thank you. Y'all be killing me how y'all put this mic in front of my face and then tell me not to talk. But my recollection from this class is speed is like a hamster wheel. You can run as fast as you can and you're not making any traction or any movement. Velocity is what is measurable in your trajectory. So you could be going as fast as you want to but running in place versus you could be running a mile at that same speed and gaining traction.
Yes. So, are you moving fast, or do you have velocity? Now you. Can anybody answer how they know the difference?
The results.
Anybody? How do you know the difference?
I don't know if it's about knowing the difference, but what came up for me was the idea of compounding, where velocity feels like you're able to compound versus speed, you're just all over the place. No.
Time. If I look back 6 months ago, am I in the same place? I've been hella busy. Am I in the same place I was? I just been moving fast, speed. But you can be intentional and progressive, and you can look back 6 months ago and be like, damn, I've done this, or I've done this, or I've done this. That's velocity. So that's why it's important for us to know the difference, because a lot of times I've seen people move in place for 10, 15 years and move fast without saying, fuck, wait a minute. Oh my God. Did y'all just go around the same corner? So this is a core basic, absolutely important. Next one.
What is dead time versus alive time?
Ooh. Dead time versus alive time.
While the feed is catching up, can I say something on the last point?
Yeah.
So when I think about that, it makes me think about when you're pressed and you're always moving hella fast and you tend to break something or hurt yourself, that's speed. You're like so quick to try to do 1,000 things versus the velocity showing up of saying like, I have this big task. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to delegate this. I'm going to create a plan so that I can get to like the end goal. I think that like my brain thinks about that as far as application. So like yesterday I had this huge photo shoot and I had 1,000 moving parts. And I was like, if I speed through this, it's going to be ineffective and I'm going to get a whole bunch of half-assed stuff. But if I create a shot list, delegate this, and plan this, it'll be effective. And so that was like the difference between like being able to do a whole bunch of stuff and get myself tired versus being effective and now having like marketing for the next 6 months.
Good. You got something?
Nothing online.
Thinking? Okay. Next one. Oh, yeah. What is dead time versus alive time? What's dead time versus alive time?
Okay, so this lightweight changed my life. When you think about how you use your time, we don't have a lot of time in a day to not do anything. So if we take radical responsibility of what that difference of being like, when you're not doing nothing, you could literally not be doing anything. There's no contribution to yourself, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. And then the clock don't wait for you, so.
There's
Go
two
ahead.
online.
Go ahead.
So Kaja said passive time spent doing nothing versus passive time spent enriching and learning.
Yes, or doing something. Yes.
And then
This is go ahead.
second comment. So do you want to continue?
Critical component to basic entrepreneurship is that's how you compound time. That's how it seems like you have so much going on. I mean, you're accomplishing so much because you're turning all dead time into a live time. And remember, it's not multitasking. Multitasking is shit. But it's dead time versus a live time. So if 10 to 20% of my energy, mental energy, is doing something, what else can I be doing that's adding value to me as a human being, entrepreneur, business person, parent, partner, whatever? If I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, what could I be doing that could turn that dead time into a live time? If I'm driving in a car, what can I be doing to turn that dead time into a live time? Which can compound over time, and it will seem like you've lived 358 years because you compounded and you used all your dead time and turned it to a lifetime. My routine in the gym is so repetitive, I don't got to think. So I'm deep into books, audio books.
I feel like I want to add something about intention to this too. I was just listening to these two neuroscientists talking about like your mind's capacity to be on and then how it's got to be turned off or you'll burn yourself out. So I think it's about the intention. Like the dead time is like scrolling pointlessly on social media, listening to some bullshit news, But like taking time to recharge, taking time to go for a walk outdoors if you've just worked 6 hours or whatever, I think also can be contributed as a lifetime. I just felt like that was important to say because sometimes I think if we keep the brain going too much, then it becomes worthless because we've overworked ourselves. Not that we shouldn't be on our grind, but
Sure, absolutely.
yeah, I think intention is key.
A lifetime also includes refreshing time, recreation, meditation, sleep. Like those are important. The Stephen Covey calls that sharpening the saw. It's one of his 7 laws of effective people, sharpening the saw.
Right. I just wanted to say that because I don't want people to get the impression like I gotta always be doing something. It's like no, you become
No, I love that point.
ineffective. Then.
I love that point. Thank you for that point because you have to restore your bandwidth. Like I think I came into Hope at a bandwidth deficit, so I'm trying to understand the world of an entrepreneur in a negative bandwidth. How you gonna do that? So what happens?
Yeah.
I'm your corporate auntie who been working on self for trying to get my bandwidth back up.
That's the name of a
The
podcast.
intentionality.
I like that.
Your corporate auntie. That's the name of the podcast. No, absolutely. Yeah, again, multitasking is shit and hustle mentality is shit too. So not resting, I sleep when I die mentality is shit too. So recreation is a lifetime. Sleep, getting your good 7-8 hours of sleep is a lifetime because it sets you up. It's sharpening your saw to be the most effective you can be for velocity. Because what can happen is that mentality will get you thinking speed and speed and speed, and you don't realize you're running on a treadmill. So a good point.
There's 2 more points online. Fern said, dead versus alive. Alive time is productive, i.e. listening to a podcast, audio, book while driving. Daphne said, taking advantage of time not requiring mental engagement. For instance, listening to an audio book or podcast.
Yeah, you guys get it. And here's the thing. The ones who don't get it, I'm not mad at you. But know that I'm coming for you again. And I'm going to say this a different way so that you do get it. So, but don't be saying you bored by the repetitiveness of it because you ain't got it. And it's not my job to just skim over that. It's my job to make sure you get it. Are we wasting our time? So the ones that don't get it, it's okay. It's not okay, but I'm not mad at you. I just want you to just continue to listen and try to find ways to let this absorb down into your psychology because these are important basics that you need. They're thinking tools that you need to move as an entrepreneur. You see what I'm saying? It's important. And only you know if you get it or not. Only you know. Because, again, there's no grades at the end of this shit. And there ain't no report cards at the end of this shit. Your report card is how successful you doing as an entrepreneur. Your bank account. That's and only you can see that. So you fucking yourself up by posturing. You fucking yourself up by making excuses or being defensive about it. I'm going to go home. You going to go home or we all going to go home. But we got to go back home to our lives. And that's the reality if we go back to that Johari window. It's what we see and other people don't see. That makes sense? So if you're the figurative person that's in Gucci and Prada and clean and then you go to your house and your house is disgusting, nasty as fuck, because don't nobody go in there. So because nobody sees your house, you don't have respect for your own house. So you just throw shit and it bugs, roaches, all kind of shit in there. But the whole world sees you as this. That's the objective reality that you need. Next slide. This is one of my fucking favorites. What is priming? What is framing? What is anchoring? I would say give a little minute to figure out if you know what those are. What is priming? What is framing? What is anchoring? When I learned this,
Baby, them say.
I damn near, if I was a student when I learned this, I would have fucking got up and left the class immediately and started working on this shit. Cause this is the equivalent of, hey, there's like, I found like there's a whole giant ore of gold on 23rd on the corner of East 12th and 23rd right now, and nobody knows where it's at. Are you done? Are you done talking? All right. I see you later. That's the only reason why I stayed, because I had to stay and help teach. This shit is amazing. All right, who want to take priming?
There's nobody online yet.
Nobody online?
And if it was, she would like this. Ain't nobody online, so
Ain't talking about nothing, about nothing, ain't talking about nothing, about nothing.
It's probably hella people online. No, nobody
I'm
online.
being so
Nobody
honest.
online.
I promise.
they ain't talking about that.
It's a delay.
It's a delay?
It's a delay. There is really nobody online yet.
Priming. Oh my God.
I'll go. Can I be wrong?
Yes, you could be wrong.
Okay, like preparing a direction.
Preparing it or no.
Okay, Fern just answered.
Fern, come on, Fern.
Okay, she says, priming for me is gearing ish up. Oh, well, she answered all of them. Should I read the whole response or just by segment?
Priming for now.
Yeah, okay, so she said priming is gearing ish up.
Gearing shit up.
Pretty much. She just said ish, so I'm just reading.
That too vague, Fern. You gotta give me some details, Fern.
Yeah, very right.
You gotta give me some details. Okay. Go ahead, Shakina, and then I'm gonna follow up with you. Go ahead.
I love how you just sound so exhausted.
Damn, she gonna go ahead.
No, because I was thinking to come first, but then I want to hear what you got to say.
Also, Daphne
Yeah, go ahead.
Daphne says, how you present yourself in your business.
Vague. It's very on the outskirts. It's not it. Priming is so cold. Go ahead.
Okay. So priming is like setting the stage and like the expectations. So it can be, for example, what they smell, how the lighting is, what sounds, how the door handle feels, what the damn temperature in the room is. Those are all priming to get your customer or whoever you're trying to do what you want them to do to feel in a very intentional state to get them to do what you want to do.
Okay. Yes.
Close.
Good.
Very close.
Good.
Just Kaja Online said subconscious cues, clues to prep customers for business.
Give me. That sounds like you found that online, Kyle.
Fern said it's lubing.
It's lubing. That's that faux play.
I love it. Hey yo, I love it though.
Hey,
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Pastor Chris is on here too.
So, yeah, Pastor Chris, the pastor's here. Fern, come on. All right, here. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I think it was one of my first couple of years at Hope. I wrote the number 7 on a piece of paper, folded it up, and I gave it to Shakina. I said, hold this and wait. So I said, hey, y'all, we got 7 minutes. Let's get started. So it's about 7 things I want to talk about tonight. And wait, stop. This is like the 7th, 8th time you did that. Shut up. And 7 something, another 7 with something else. So then I teach the priming part of the class. And then in the middle of the class, I say, let's play a game, y'all. There's 50 people in the crowd. I said, I want everybody to write on a piece of paper between 1 and 10. Everybody wrote their numbers down. Okay? So I said, how many 1s? 1 or 2 1s. How many 2s? No 2s. How many 3s? 1 or 2 3s. How many 4s? No 4s. How many 5s? 1 5. How many 6s? A couple 6s. How many 7s? About 12, 13 7s. How many 8s? Couple 8s. How many 9s? 1 or 2 9s. How many 10s? No 10, 1 10. I said, Shakina, come here. Open that piece of paper. What's the number on there? 7. Everybody goes, oh, no, that's not why. That's not why. That's not why I did 7. It's not why. Remember that? Mm-hmm. I didn't put 7 because you didn't prime me. Mama Linda was like, no, I chose 7 because that was somebody close to me's favorite number. Stop, y'all. I primed you with the number 7 about 20 times before I got here. And the cold thing about priming is subconscious. You don't even know you got primed. You'll fight me to the death because you think that I didn't influence you at all.
Agency. The need.
That's why this priming shit is so powerful. Some of y'all fighting for low cost leader, lower your prices and all this shit, fighting for low cost. Man, use priming. People will say, oh, no. It's going to be a little more expensive, but it's going to be the best. Boom, boom, boom. Because it's your priming game. This is the most powerful. When you walk into a Louis Vuitton store, do you think about trying to get the hookup? Because they are priming you to spend hella money. The high ceilings, the ambiance, the outfit of what they're wearing, the security guard in the front, the perfectly placed items, the color palette, the music is all designed to manipulate your subconscious mind and prime the fuck out of you so that you'll say, oh, look, there's a $10,000 coat, but there's a $1,500 coat. You know what? I'm going to buy this. Knowing you ain't got $1,500 to spend, but you got primed. If you ain't got money like that, get out of there.
Don't be in the stove.
Because you will get primed. And good marketers and most businesses have mastered this because they know that this ducks around your conscious mind, your system 1 mind, and gets down deep into that subconscious, and you'll be doing shit that you like, I didn't know I never do this. That's why this is so powerful.
Is that the power of advertisement?
Advertising is part of priming. It's part of priming. But priming is, there's a thing in the book, and we're going to move on for the sake of time. The book where we got this from said, in a wine store, Fern, they tested out priming. So in the background music of a wine store, they played German music. German wine sales went up, was it 40-something%? Then they switched the channel and played French music in the background. And French wine sales went up 40-something%. And the people in the stores will argue you down that that's not why they bought it. That's the power of priming. So how clean your place is, how decorated it is, how the type of furniture you have. Nana talked about early on, damn, this mic got hella loud. Nana talked about this early on, how he would show up to, this is what gave me the ideas. Regardless of how much money or how well he was doing, they would show up to photo shoots to do jobs with nice equipment, newer MacBooks, good quality cameras. It doesn't have to be the newest of the new, but it shows that you intentionally spend time and energy on excellent quality. So they will attach excellent quality to you. So when it's time to give them that invoice, they expect it. You showed up excellent. You used excellent quality equipment. You gave us excellent service. I'm automatically expect for the excellent price to come. That's priming. Next one. What is framing?
So one of my favorite stories for framing is Rich Paul. He's LeBron's agent, but he was also Tristan Thompson's agent, right? So when the Cavs were trying to make their play to get to the championship, Tristan Thompson was up for a renewal on his contract. The Cavs didn't want to give him hella money. So Rich went to the news and basically ran this story that like Tristan is like the number one supporter on the team, and the Cavs they want to spend hella money on LeBron, but they don't want to spend money to take their team to the championship. So he took control of the narrative and he took control of the framing and changed the perception and the reality of the situation. And I think to me, essentially that's what framing is. If I can tell a story or I can give you information that makes you accept my reality and buy into my reality, then I frame the situation.
Yeah. Framing is a negotiation tactic which allows, well, is there any answers online?
No.
No. Okay. This, and here's the thing, y'all. This, if I had to only take 5 basic tools, this would be in my top 5. So for y'all not to know this, you losing money. Put this in your top 5. I damn near top 3. If I had 3 tools, you say there's 1,000 entrepreneur tools, you only can take 3. This is one of them. Period. Point blank. Period. Framing is when you negotiate in a way or communicate in a way that frames the situation to your advantage in the direction you want to steer it. See what I'm saying? We were framed a lot as kids. We just don't know the name. We were framed by our parents. We just don't know the name. So if I said, if I was trying to sell you and I said, hey, when will you be ready to do business with me? Huh? When will you be ready to do business with me? I just framed you. Why? Because I forced you into a corner. Most people don't have the psychological fortitude to step out the frame. They got to literally step out the frame and say, shit, never. Most people don't do that. Like when? Shit, I don't know. You're framing. If I said, when with our retail store, we would try to collect email addresses. So after the sale, we say, hey, would you like to join our mailing list? No. This class gave me the idea. Bing! I said, no, fuck that shit. When you print their receipt out, say, would you like your receipt texted or emailed to you? 99.9% of the time, they gave me one or the other, which means I have either their email address or their phone number. You see what I'm saying? Framing.
The rule of thumb I've been using for it, literally, I think about it as a car, and whoever has the steering wheel in the car is the person framing.
Framing. Yes. This tactic in negotiations, in marketing, this is one of your marketing tools. If you're not using framing in your marketing tools, you're leaving it to chance. Now, what your parents used to do when they framed you, they would say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you is a frame, because it's presupposing something's wrong with you. So you have to jump out the frame. Most of us was like, I don't know. What's wrong with you is framing. Because an open-ended question is everything okay? How are you feeling? That gives you the freedom to answer questions left, right, up, or down. But when I say what's wrong with you, I just framed you. If you're not using framing in marketing, you fucking up. If you don't know what framing is, you fucking up worse. This, like I said, if somebody said you grab the top three tools in entrepreneurship, this one will be one of them. Remember, we're a marketing company that does what we do. We don't do what we do. Third one, anchoring. Oh God. Anybody online know what anchoring is? No?
Not yet.
If you're not negotiating with anchoring, you're fucking up. If you don't know what anchoring is, you're fucking up. We teach this every year, at least once. These three are one of the coldest, most important tools we can have in our toolbox. So I'm gonna run through an example real quick. Let's negotiate. Grab that mic. I'm selling you a car, and you're interested in it. Let's go. You start.
I like that car that you were just showing me the best, but I don't really have the money to afford it.
Yeah, you did.
You lost. You already lost.
What do you like about it?
I like the way it handles, the way it looks, and it has a lot of space.
Okay, cool. You want to test drive it? Let's test drive. Let's get in it.
It's not really my price range, but I'll test drive it just to check it out and see.
Okay, cool. How do you know it's not in your price range?
From the ticket on the car.
Yep, you lost again.
Yeah.
What's the ticket?
The price that you have showing on the car there.
How much is it? Throw a number out.
It's 70,000.
70,000? That is the ticket.
Now, if it was like 40,000, that would be a perfect car for me.
All right. 40,000 it is. You made it so easy for me, bro.
Yeah, you really did.
Now, here's a reason why. The ticket is the anchor.
Yes.
All the room down there under that is room for me to negotiate and find your price. That's why when you walk into a store, like you see MSRP, because marketers and business people know that people are anchored by the highest number. But the real number is down here. That's anchoring. So we didn't even get to play the game because you gave it to me. But typically, if somebody asks me how much is it, I'll throw a crazy high number, way higher than the cost, to anchor them the fuck out of them. So when I say the real price, it feels comfortable. Even when I'm joking, so ask me the number of that car.
How much is that car?
$1 million. I'm fucking with you. It's 70,000. How'd that 70,000 filled in?
A lot less.
See what I'm saying? Because I anchored you at $1 million. Even if it's a joke, your brain still locks in at the fucking million. That's why this anchoring, so when you're setting your prices, when you're talking to customers, you're always anchoring high. You're anchoring high to get to the price. Anchor high, get to the price. How much is it? Way up here. But for you, I'll do it for this. Way over here. Typically over here, but I'll do it. I'll work some things out and do it for you. And it's your price. When you're negotiating on the other side, it's the person who anchors first wins. You anchor low. Man, I only on your side, I only came to spend like 10,000. Even though you got 40 to spend. But you anchored me low. Fuck, you started there. So now we're on this anchoring contest. If we both know the same Jedi mind trick. Oh, I got you. You did that. Okay, now I'm gonna go super high. So then if I anchor super high, then I can say, hey, let's just meet in the middle somewhere. Because your nature to be fair kicks in. This shit is so powerful. Study. Like this is sorry, Pastor Chris. Can be like a religion. Study these three things like a religion.
I'm teaching it tonight. That's why I hate you. I'm teaching advanced anchoring, but still, I hate you so much.
I'm gonna get my notebook. This dude, so cold. This dude is so cold when it comes to this shit. Oh my God. And it was a pivotal time in my business when he taught me this, and it took my shit to another level. So, anyways, good.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. Actually, when I create proposals for people, I put it up real high, and then I'll give them a discount, and then I'll put that discount in the proposal so they see it, so they feel even more.
Let me give you. Let me
appreciative.
get quick to, since he's already broached on a portion of my fucking. Goddamn, this dude. I don't know. Like, our synergy is crazy. I love this brother to death, but the fact that it's crazy. But here's a trick on anchoring: the person who anchors first wins.
Yep.
So when you say I don't have a lot of money, you gave him the chance to go first. If you had said, "Look, man, I'm here to buy this car. All I got is 40,000."
See what I'm saying?
At that point, he's now have to fight your numbers.
Yep.
Or let me go another level to it. Man, I just paid my son's tuition. Man, that shit cost me 40 grand. So let's talk about this car. Yes, or I can say this. My son just ran a 40-yard dash. You didn't think that, huh? So even you talk about numbers that had nothing to do with money,
Yeah.
you are anchoring people.
Yes, that's why I love this shit.
I think didn't they talk about in Think Twice how people's phone numbers can even anchor
Yeah,
them
phone
into
number.
it?
Your phone number can anchor. If once you start saying numbers, and here's the thing, I can tell you I'm anchoring you, and you still can't avoid it because it's subconscious.
Yeah. Bro.
I can tell you, I'm about to anchor you. You be like, I know what anchoring is. You about to run a game on me, but because it's such a deep subconscious control,
Yeah.
you consciously can't challenge it.
All right, let's go. I want to run through this last because I want to be done with this. What is first principle thinking? What is first principle thinking?
Oh, my favorite.
What is first principle thinking?
Every day.
Online,
I get
30
no delay.
seconds.
You don't delay.
First principle thinking. I need y'all to jump in, and I need everybody to know what the fuck this is, and do not Google or ask ChatGPT or AI nothing.
Kaja, no, I'm just messing with Kaja. I think she got hers right. She got hers most. I just mess with her.
No, don't. What is first principle thinking? All you got is your notes that you can go back to the notes you wrote. First principle thinking.
Nobody yet.
Anybody? No?
I mean, there's a delay, so. Fern said, breaking things down without assumptions.
That's a good piece of, that's a little piece of it. That's a nugget of it. So second order thinking wouldn't be, second order thinking is probably a no too.
There's a few more coming in. Daphne says, dealing with absolute truth and no assumptions. And Fern followed up and says, stripping assumptions and getting to the basic as principles.
Okay. We're starting to get there. Anybody want, we'll finish this and then we'll switch. You want to answer, Scott or Shakita?
Good crack at it. I might be wrong though. I think for me, it's looking at the fundamentals of the system of how something works and building from there. So looking at how is this thing actually objectively working? What are the things that work and don't work with it? And then I'm going to build forward from there.
That's good input. Yeah, I understand where you're going. It's how first principles are how things are reverse engineered in a way where you can recreate an outcome based on boiling things down to the principles, the first principles of a thing. So Elon Musk uses first principle thinking to build his businesses, his ships, his cars, because first principles doesn't give a fuck how long you've been doing it or who's been doing it or how nice the people have been doing it or how much money they make in doing it. It says, I need to get from A to B, and what are all the core principles of getting there? And boiling the core principles down and reverse engineering the core principles so that you can come up with a lot of times a better outcome. First, and there's more to it, but this should be a clue to us that we got more listening to do. We got more learning to do because first principle and second order thinking is really how we move our businesses, how we go, the actions that we take or don't take based on our businesses. That's probably, if we was in, this is in top 5 too, this type of thinking. So we know we gotta work on. All right, y'all.
All right. Couple questions. So last week I said we wanted to do the feedback class, but what happened was I thought this week was the last class when actually the last class is next week. So if you okay with us moving into the next week, okay, cool. Oh sure. Hold on a second. I'm looking at myself because I was so busy watching online. Kaja's funny. Let me skip to my slides. Okay, so let's do this class. This is a few of us here in the house. Let's make this a really like conversation. So you guys have things that I'm talking about everybody. I don't care if I don't get past 1 or 2 slides. I'm committed to like driving thought, and in driving thought, the areas that I'm going into now are beyond observation. So you can't just observe these things and get this level of information I'm sharing now. Also, the information I'm sharing in this class at this stage of the game, if you really, okay, this is how you know you're starting to understand this stage of thought, is you realize that TV doesn't fit anymore. You realize that social media won't work for you anymore. You'll realize that you will struggle, you will lose the ability to be pop culture popular. Where we're going to go with this level of thought is when you reach a certain level of leadership, you are no longer entertained by the rhythms of the masses, even though you're here to serve the masses, and even though you engage the masses, you make your living from the masses. You won't think within their rhythms, their expectations. I was just saying earlier today, many of the Hope students who went to college, did you know that you were also being educated by television? So, well, how am I being educated by television? Television shaped our expectation, our digestion to information. Television gives us quick sound bites that are entertaining. Often if somebody takes too long to explain something, we often go, if you can't explain it, it must not be true. Right? When actually, because the world's so complex, there's certain ideas that cannot be simplified. Although I'm an advocate of simplification. But what I'm trying to highlight is that many of us have become addicted to shortcuts and simplification. You want to talk like that. You want to think like that. You want to read books that are simple, that get straight to the point, that's sweet and tricky and make you want, and that's a nugget. But there's a stage that, let me help you think about it this way. If you go to running a company and say you have 1 employee, you may be able to escape a lot of deep thinking. Gain 100 employees. They're handling multiple tasks. Your simple thinking is now the problem. And so there's a point where if you want to scale, grow, expand, that means you have to scale, grow, and expand. And yet we've been trained by media to expect simplicity in our communication. So quite often it's these things where as you start to learn this level of thought that I'm trying to introduce, you're going to find that it's hard as hell to find a reporter that reports an issue that gives their opinion that shows healthy thought. Most people are entertaining, and they're not speaking to your thought. Most things on media, I would say 90% of the stuff you see on media, especially popular media, we almost say 100%. 100% of popular media speaks towards your entertainment, not your thought. And when you learn new principles of thought, you will go to a party one day, and if you express your ideas, you will find that your ideas fall on dead ears because the ears are listening for popularity over thought. So there's a point that you cross a threshold where you will no longer be able to gain popularity. So, for example, a person who's like I'm not trying to be a podcast. I don't really give a shit if I'm not popular, because I'm trying to teach something that's a necessary resource in our community. But if I was trying to gain popularity, I know how to talk that shit and sell those words that have no value. I have you so full with empty calories, you won't even know what's coming towards you. And a lot of these self-help books are empty calories. They feel good to your system, but they're empty. And then a lot of people who are pseudo thinkers will take some of these, they will even copy and paste terms that you heard tonight to kind of support their poor rationalization. I remember I watched a discussion, has feminism went too far? And I couldn't believe they were having this discussion, not because the conversation has feminism went too far, but they had a scientist, a journalist, and a woman who was a victim of a cult. And she ran her podcast because she was pro-feminism. So she was mostly defending her experiences and her interpretation of a woman experience, arguing for all women. You see the flaw? She's not arguing for you. She has inside view over outside view. And then the scientist who was trying to have a conversation with her was trying to navigate her emotions as opposed to drive the discussion. And the journalist was a master storyteller. So as I'm watching these three people, I'm like, this is not a debate. This is not even, you're gonna find people just kind of sharing their arguments and trying to win the listener's emotional tie to the conversation more than drive thinking about the conversation. You'll see this all the time. Like the very fact that you see Stephen A. Smith as a potential candidate for presidency lets you know a lot of times you can't separate entertainment from actually thought leaders. And it's because most of society, the problem with social media issuing so many people into speaking roles is that now it's highly distorted, especially if you were born in the 90s. You don't know who's the thought leaders and who's the entertainers anymore. But when you train your ears to think, your brain can separate it almost as easy as a knife can separate butter. It is so easy to the point that a lot of times I'll hear a conversation start, I can't finish it because I can say, you don't have thought disciplines. So without making this a mystery, we're going to jump into class. But just know at this point, I want us to be able to just jump in, cut me off, throw your thoughts out there. Shakina, if you see something that's like, I don't want to hear like, amen. Don't share that with me. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts because I'm challenging some of our core beliefs. Our cultural core beliefs are going to be challenged. And you'll see why I can divorce certain ideas so fast. It's not because I'm a prophet. It's because these ideas have the wrong principles supporting them. I asked a question earlier before I get into class. I said, can another man give you freedom? Think about that. Can another man give you freedom? But why do you ask him? Because the reason you can't get freedom because go back to the entitlement trap. When would a person ever be satisfied? And when would it go from thank you to you owe me? But see, if you don't understand the entitlement trap principles and you watch people going, I'm going to ask this company to give me freedom. How are they supposed to do that? How are you supposed to imagine if you had 20 kids, Some adopted. Rest, you was working hard at night. And your kids said, your job is to make me happy. Could you? Freedom sits in that free. Matter of fact, if you're dealing with a diverse group of people and they all premise is fairness, how could you achieve that? So where does the responsibility of fairness lie? So when you see a movement saying we're going to march for fairness, I'm going, from who? Who's going to give it to you? Who will sustain it for you? Oh, who's going to quit their job and work for you to make you happy? Even if my granddaddy was a cold-blooded oppressor, how am I supposed to do that? So even if you acknowledge it, moving forward, I understand looking backwards, but moving forward in your thought discipline, how do you create sustainable freedom? See how when you learn how to think, then these popular ideas that come across your screen, and we're gonna get into that in a second, how you just don't quick just to grab hold and spend time, attention, and money on something. And mind you, grab your microphone if you disagree, or let's jump into the conversation. What I'm trying to show you is that as you build an idea, learn how to think and scale something out and understand the principles of how things work, as opposed to popular thought, popular idea, popular trendy beliefs, pseudo thinking, then you'll see that it's going to make you eccentric. Name a billionaire that doesn't feel eccentric. Name somebody. I'm talking about a billionaire who actually built. I ain't talking about a billionaire that inherited. I'm talking about somebody who's able to navigate. Name somebody who really can navigate who doesn't feel eccentric. That's the cost of growth, is you will become eccentric, which means you're different than the norm. But then some of us struggle to be part of the norm, even though we're on a path to be different than the norm. We're still listening to the norm to validate ourselves when we want to be different than the norm. It doesn't mean that you get to divorce the norm, because our job is to serve them. We don't get to eat on an island by ourselves. There's no elite island. There's no such thing. And sometimes you'll learn this in future lessons. There is called crowd intelligence that's sometimes greater than expert intelligence. I mean, the crowd is full of diverse kind of thinking, but when that crowd comes together and at certain points, crowds can make better decisions than individuals, and you got to know how to pull that lever at certain times. Mm-hmm. But many of us are trying to live in two worlds. It's like the Christian who wants to go to all the clubs. You backslide like it's going out of control. I mean, I know when they repent so many times. You're like, bro, you can't repent that many times. I don't think Jesus is cool with that. All right, let's jump into the first slide. So let's close out this inside versus outside view. And by the way, when you learn to see this, you'll see a lot of bullshit out here. You hear somebody go, this is wrong, and then here they don't have the outside. They never took time to develop the outside view. Most activists, let me say this is going to sound very uncomfortable for some people. This is when you grab a microphone. Most activists are victims of an inside view. They just are. I don't care what you're activist for. Whatever you believe in. I don't give a shit. It's Save the Turtles. You suffer from inside view. Period. It's not black, not white, not straight. Again, all activists. Most activists are victims of inside view. All right, Shakira, let's read this one.
Bet. Inside versus outside view. Conclusion. The main lesson from the inside-outside view is that while decision makers tend to dwell on uniqueness, the best decision often derives from sameness.
Oh, stop. How's that feel? Think about that. Read that phrase one more time. Although the average person likes to thrive and think about uniqueness,
the best decision often derives from sameness.
Do you guys get that point? Think about that, because I want to slow us down. I want us to think about what we just read. Even though the decision makers tend to dwell on uniqueness, I'm different. Nobody be biting on my music. I'm different. Often, the best decision is sameness. What is sameness? You might know what sameness is? Go ahead.
Well, when I read it, it made me think about how you often would refer to the importance of the herd, how we're herd animals, and how even though we're usually as humans tending to be selfish, it's important to buy into like family and community because you'll get separated and ostracized.
Agree, but in the wrong direction. Agree with everything you said, just wrong direction.
Okay.
Fern got a question.
What did Fern say?
She says, is there a difference between outside view and thinking on a meta level or overarching?
Is it different between outside view and what? Thinking on a meta level. Meta level? Mm-hmm. Well, meta level can fall victim to your ego. So you gotta be very careful with that, right? Meta, like I engage in like stepping far, far, far back and go, what is life? What does this mean? Outside view is, do you realize we're serving other people? Do you realize you don't know what the fuck they're thinking? Do you realize whatever you're thinking could be absolutely eccentric? It could be distorted. It could be twisted. So imagine you put a lot of effort and energy and money and resources into what you're thinking. And often what you miss is that, or you will realize that because you feel a certain kind of way, how do you know that you're not suffering from biases? How do you know you're not suffering from unique experiences? And you say, you know what all black people need? No, I know what you need. I don't know what all black people need, right? Like, think about this. Even if you live in Bay Area, right? And you say, well, I know what black people need. What about black people in New York too? And black people down south in different areas of down south? Black people in Midwest? Black people in Chicago? Like, what are we which black people are we talking about? Black people who migrated here recently, first generation, second generation? When you start saying black people, I know what they need, aren't you taking your inside view and then using fancy words to make it sound like it's something that we all share? Right? It's one of those inside view versus outside view. There are common, and we can play the statistics. But what I'm suggesting is that we all are victims of biases based upon our experiences. If your daddy wasn't there the whole time, or let's say you're a woman and your daddy wasn't there the whole time, and it's tainted your relationship on men. But then you speak about men, but it's coming from a tainted space as opposed to, I had a great relationship with my parents.
As did I.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm curious, is the mirroring bias then kind of what you're talking about with the inside view? Like, if I was in their shoes, I'd be doing this. Is it that type of problem? Is that kind of where you're pointing with this?
No, we talked about it for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and that's why I said it's a conclusion. Inside view is when we all sitting in a room and we think this is what the world needs. So, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a really grounded example. I used to work for PG&E. And this is the early stages. I came to PG&E when they was just really embracing desktop computers for everybody, right? Microsoft computers. And I remember one time I was part of a team that was rolling out some software. And we rushed to roll out some software. And this software was tested on, say, courts division. But when it hit that big-ass company and it hit all the different different departments using different software, we saw a catastrophe beyond your imagination. Because what happens is we had an inside view working with court. But once it hit, like, say, Shakina's department, it hit your department, and you guys use a computer for totally different reasons that we didn't even think about because of our inside view, we became a victim of the inside view versus outside view. So later on, we had to learn how to test and get samples and run betas and to gain a rich outside view to help us inform us what decisions to make in this single room between us and the IT department.
All right, just bear with me. So can I use like a business model as an example to make sure I understand?
Okay.
Like product development. Like, say, for instance, on a lot of levels, the Gap brand. Some of their stuff is real basic. The khakis, the sweater, the white button downs. They make old nautical at times. Are they thinking about this? Like, instead of us branching off into what's trendy, we're gonna kind of keep a product design that's built on what's more common to like a working family or
Court, you're a perfect person because this is
it too
Court
far?
breeds,
I'm
drinks,
sorry if I'm
smells,
going too far.
retail. Like if sometimes I ask him certain questions just to be entertained. Uniqueness, the sameness is our base rate. What do human beings just often do? You can come with these dope ass clothes, but what do people typically wear? And if it gets so unique to the point that ain't nobody gonna wear that shit in New York because it's cold, right? The sameness is that in this season, you got to figure out a jacket. Like, you start selling shorts in this season, bad idea. So at the end of the day, you're still victim by sameness, where some of us can get so unique in our ideas, we don't understand the base rate of how things work around us. We're so unique that we're lost in our creative world. We no longer see the people we're serving. And at the end of the day, there's certain things by default, human beings have certain rhythms and certain patterns and certain needs and certain expectations that limits our creative expression. But we get so point, like, let's say Court came, back in the 70s, boys wore football jerseys that stopped right here. So what if Court wanted to be so unique, he created basketball jerseys that stopped right here? He's out of business. He is literally out of. They'd be like, "Ooh, Pride basketball, not for the East Oakland, right?" And so now, mind you, he's being unique. When ultimately, as he designs jerseys, it still has to fall within a functionality of sameness, right? Even when they buy what they expect, that doesn't really change. And so a lot of times we get inside views, we get discussing these ideas, and we never ask ourselves, so what has traditionally worked in this space? Why do people buy clothes? What would they typically buy around this time of the year? Okay, I'm gonna do something unique with that within that framework. But some of us get so unique. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sell sandals in New York where they wear Timberlands and where the rats are running around, and cats gonna love it.
Okay, buddy.
Son, if you'll take your ass to California with that shit, because sameness is California rock like that. New York, them boys are Timberlands. I'm saying maybe they not now because New York is diversified, but I'm saying that at that trend, during that particular trend. So sameness is, what is the base rate? Uniqueness is, you know what I'm going to do? I don't care what the base rate is. This is what I'm going to do. Inside view versus outside view. All right, let's go. Keep going. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for bland, unimaginative, imitative, or risk-free decisions.
Pause real quick. What's the difference between the experience of the evolution of Beyonce and the evolution of Diana Ross, evolution of Michael Jackson? Isn't it the same thing? Now, they may be expressing different sound of music, but if you look at the evolution of a rock star going to a certain point, it's in Beyonce's interest to study Prince, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, famous stars who rose to that bigger than life, because she's at that point. If she go in there and be like, I don't need to study them, I'm going to do me, she's going to break a lot of eggs. So there's a need when you walk into a certain space, this whole idea that the world just started when you started is a huge distortion. Go ahead.
I'm saying there is a wealth of useful information based on situations that are similar to the ones that we face every day. Mm-hmm. We ignore that information to our own detriment. Paying attention to that wealth of information will help you make more effective decisions.
In business, let me say this real quick. We are borrowing ideas from everybody. And we're looking at so if Court came into athletic wear and didn't know what Nike, Adidas, then he has to spend money to relearn all that shit again. That's too expensive. His advantage is to be able to take the knowledge that's already been established, absorb that, make that his base, and then build creativity with that that becomes his infrastructure. But many of us want to be like, I'm different. Yes, I'm different. And then all of a sudden, just go to the next level, right? And all of a sudden, we want to just I'm gonna do everything different. No, you're not. You still have the constraints of industry similarities, and so that's why the inside view, for us not to, if somebody started a business, how many people are just, for example, okay, here's an inside view versus outside view. Outside view would be me sitting on a corner talking to a couple of dudes and be like, man, all these actors are hella rich. That's it. That's an inside view. I mean, that's an outside view, actually. That's a reverse. This is an outside view. Inside view, you realize that most actors are waiters and waitresses. Most actors and actresses are broke. But it's really easy for you to I'm gonna be an actor and I'm gonna blow up tomorrow because you assume, because you know a rich actor, you're gonna have the same trajectory as Denzel Washington. Not realizing that's a rarity, bro. I'm at the same trajectory as Jay-Z. That's a rarity as a motherfucker, bro. You gotta look at how many rappers who didn't make it. This is where base rate insights will. So every time you think about something like, yo, they're very successful, how many weren't successful? And once you look at the numbers, you might realize, oh, I'm on a journey of 5%, 3%, 10%, 20%, 30%. But a lot of times our brain, because we have an inside view, we're going to think it's 100% because we won't check the base rates. You guys get that part? That's cool?
Yeah.
Let's go to the next slide. Now we're going to get to something else.
It
So,
also-
go ahead.
I was going to say, it also just makes me think about what you covered in the last class about everybody having the framing that, but I'm different or I'm special. And that bleeds into it of being like, yeah, the numbers might say this, but me.
Yes, 100% correct. That's such a like, because we're victims of our the bias of being over optimistic, or we by default all of us think we're better than other people around us, and that's a natural bias. Like you can't escape it. And so once you know that's a natural bias, you're gonna have to work against your natural counterintuitive. Now, this one title here is so much fire here. Read this real quick.
Mental models rule our world.
So this shit's fire. Mental models rule our world. Anybody ever heard that before? Any of you guys ever heard that phrase? Online, if you ever heard the phrase, mental models rule our world. So if mental models rule our world, how come you weren't taught mental models in grade school, junior high, high school, college? I want you to sit with this before I get into it, because this is just going to be so much fire. You're going to realize, you mean it rules our world and we don't learn about it? How the fuck are you operating? Go ahead.
There's a question online from Fern, and she said, so base rate is like reverting to the mean. I have heard the mental models rule.
She said she heard the mental models rule the world?
Yeah. And she said, is base rate mean that you're reverting to the mean?
Base rate is what's most common. What's most commonly happen? What is the most, like, for example, you looked at statistics and you say, hey, we want to build a building in 3 weeks. Okay, how long does it usually take to build that same kind of building that's been built before, or its buildings are very similar? Oh, 3 years. Okay, then something's wrong with our calculation. Done. Now you go back in and start working on your plan. But if you say, I know I can build it in 3 weeks, what are you going to do so different that it can be done in 3 weeks? Or what have you invented? Is there an AI machine, or is there modules that are already designed? And in those module system, within that system, is it done in 3 weeks, right? And in that 3 weeks, is that point of sale or is that point of completion, right? These are all different things that, like when you say base rate, what has been done before? How many people have went into like doing household improvements and said, I can get this done in 3 months, and a year later, you're still working on that same improvement? But if you looked at the base rate, somebody would have told you, well, if you're working, it might take a year and a half. If you're not working, now the day somebody tell you that, you're like, a year and a half? Just go get the shit from your Home Depot. What do you mean a year and a half? Because you can't see it, because you have an inside view.
Right.
Your son is at the basketball camp, and he crossing over, and Court comes up to you and be like, so how's he doing in school? Like, no, my son about to be an NBA player. He's like, no, all these kids are like that, because he has an inside view. Outside view. You have an inside view, which is my son. And you see how good he is? And ain't nobody in my family as fast as him. And of course, say, I don't give a shit how fast he is. Based upon the outside view, you might want to make sure you bring some books to practice. Go ahead.
I think that's the secret sauce of the AAU game, is that I think the population of kids that enter an AAU, and they don't know that they have to be competitive before they get there. And so a lot of AAU teams make money because they just want their kids to play. They ain't done no research, they don't care. And it's such a dominant game, or it's such a dominant area, that's how like they generate. They don't.
There's a lot of distortions with inside view, from kids to adults to everybody. I mean, kids by default have inside view. My daughter thinks she's going to be everything. But she has an inside view. She doesn't know how the world works, right? But the more you get in this relationship with the world and you look at the base rates, and I promise you, I wish I had $1 for every time I see somebody start a project and then look at the base rate. Well, there was a person in our class, an old alumni, who said, no, I just quit my job. How many months do you think it'd take me before I start making a profit? I'm like, oh, you didn't see that base rate. That base rate said, bro, go get another job. The base rate said, like, literally, You got me fucked up. Okay, so read this next line. I'm slowing it down on purpose because we're going to have some conversations for a little bit. All right, read the next line.
As we said, the generator of reality is not observable.
All right, y'all hear that phrase? Do you realize the things that generate reality you can't see? Okay, right now, Shakina, here's a test for you. I know you're going to fail, but I'm going to give you your best. Go and give me your best effort. Matter of fact, I will be willing to bet money. Tell me what everybody in this room is thinking right now. But guess what? You got to sell as a product. Once again, tell me what everybody in this room is thinking right now. Now, since you've been in here this whole time, been observing them, can you tell me what they're doing? What they're thinking?
They thinking that I am not going to get this right. Am I right?
I want you guys to understand, like, okay, for example, let's say right now you decide you want to go in business like Court Smith. And you go home and you spend 3 months designing jerseys. But there's something that you don't realize you don't know. You don't know if anybody's going to buy this shit. No matter how long you've been sitting out there watching them, you're like, you know it's a gamble. And then when you go to ask them for a price, you don't even know if they're willing to pay that much yet.
That part.
There's certain things you just don't know in business. When you hire somebody, you know that if that man or woman is any good?
A lot of us.
You don't know. I don't think you understand how much shit you can't observe. There's hella shit you just cannot observe. If I tell you I had a hard day, do you know why? If I tell you what I thought it is it true? I want you to understand how the world is ran by, now go back to mental models. The world's ran by mental models. How many of us have access to pure reality?
Nobody.
Any of us? That's why you remember the map is not the terrain? That means that we're all mapping reality, right? Most of us are not engaging reality. So because most of us are mapping reality, we're moving through reality with our mental models of what we should do. When A happened, we do B. When B happened, we do C. These are all our mental models. When I experience this, I do that. That means that everybody has a group of mental models that's driving their behavior, and yet it is not observable. I want you get this is a base rate of thought, because before you can get to this next level I'm about to share, I'm laying this foundation of before you can understand people around you, most of the time we are projecting. Oh, I know why she didn't like me. You're projecting. I know why she didn't buy my product. You're projecting. I know why she loves me. You're projecting. Go ahead.
Kaja asked, does the outside view have to come from someone with subject matter expertise? I think it does, but want to be sure I understand right.
No. Matter of fact, experts, we're going to get into a little bit later, is the problem. Because often experts are plagued with inside view trying to give you advice. So experts quite often, good question, Kaja, because those are the ones who are affected the most by inside view are experts. I can't begin to tell you how I deal with experts in the finance world, and I gotta often just be like blah 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 because they have an inside view, and they want to believe that the information they're saying is true, but they don't get a chance. Or even activists who try to go into certain communities and help certain communities, they're experts at what they do. It's just they have no results because they don't really take time to learn the people they're trying to help. Right? Like most nonprofits have an inside view. Most nonprofits, not all. There are some good nonprofits, but most nonprofits suffer from an inside view. This is what the people need. Have you sat down with the people lately? They don't give a fuck. They literally don't give a fuck. And you keep getting financing to spend on a hopeless idea. They just closed that camp, the camp in West Oakland, that they herded all those people from the West Oakland homelessness camp. They put them in small houses. Now they shut down all the small houses, right? At some point, I want to say to people, like, that was an inside view problem, because they said this is what the people need. They only find out those are drug addicts. And then on top of that too, so at some point, it's a lot of other politics that went behind the scenes, a lot of stuff, distortions. But the system was poorly designed because it didn't take consideration on who they were helping. Really, when you're trying to help a group of people who are addicts or suffering from mental health problems, you need different resources on the ground. So, but the inside view was like, no, they're homeless. Everybody say they're homeless. Where the money coming out? They help the homeless. Bruh. I'm from the streets. I'll give you some inside view. They weren't homeless. Or outside view. They weren't homeless. Okay. So mental models rule our world. There's a whole bunch of mental models. There's books on mental models. There's hundreds of mental models. It's the way that we frame the world that we in rules our world. If those frames change, for example, have y'all seen how Donald Trump is dealing with the Epstein files? Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. That mental model says, I heard something, I framed it this way, I'm holding you guilty. Doesn't matter if it's true. Mental models rule our world. A product could take off tomorrow and a better product could be untouched. Mental models rule our world. Don't get this game twisted, because when I get into like the different layers and the processes, I'm going to show you how so many mental models where your weaknesses and strengths actually lie. All right, next slide. All right, let's do this. Let's go.
Okay. A mental model is an internal representation of an external reality, an incomplete representation that trade detail for speed.
So your brain doesn't have time to look at all the details of reality. So it trades detail for speed. So mental models is how you're looking at the world and you just changing all the details so you can move quickly through the world. So that means that the way you engage the world, you just made that shit up. Be very clear. Okay, get going.
Once formed, mental models replace more cumbersome reasoning processes.
So mental models tell you, don't think about it. I tell you what you do right here. You see what I just did there? Do you understand this is where the impact of our oppression lives? You understand this is where your poverty lives? When you stop thinking and assume. This is assumption. Keep going.
But are only as good as their ability to match reality.
So certain mental models work, but some of them stop matching reality. And this is when your efforts don't align with your outcome. Let me say this again. Your mental models are flawed when your efforts don't align with your outcome. If you understand how dope this shit is, this is going to get cold. That means you're working hella hard, you're highly ethical, you mean the best intent, you're highly smart, but your mental model does not align with reality. So that means that your efforts don't produce the necessary outcomes, expected outcomes. Now, outcome is not static. It's very random. But a lot of times we have these expectations like, I want to be this. I want to achieve this. And if I don't do this, I feel really bad about myself. It's because your mental model is fucked up. Keep going.
An ill-suited mental model will lead to a decision-making fiasco.
There you go. Let's go.
We use perception, the meaning of words and sentences, the significance of propositions that they express, and our knowledge. Indeed, we use everything we've got to think of possibilities, and we repeat each possibility in a mental model of the world.
So, okay. If I said, hey, how do we build a company right now? Are you able to go grab hella money and go test some ideas, or is it going to take off in your mind? When you write that business plan, is that business plan coming from the actual tested ideas, or is it coming from your mental models? See how I'm going with this? I want you to see where there's so much room for growth. So much room for growth. How thinking, when I say thinking is your greatest asset in your business, this is where thinking plays a role. And when you're just copying and pasting and moving quick, you're literally becoming a fool because of your movements. Keep going.
Second, and related, is the point that how a person sees a problem, how it's described to him, how he feels about it, and his individual knowledge shapes how he reasons about it.
Okay, read that. Okay. So let me go back first real quick. When it says we use perception, the meaning of words and sentences, the significance of the proposition that they express, and our knowledge. Do you know how difficult that is in a language that's arbitrary? I can say something to you, and if you don't get the exact words, there's an exercise in the book, and he says, there's one hand has an ace or a queen, another hand has a king, or an ace. Another hand has a 10 or a jack. Can a hand have an ace? And most people said, yeah, no. But you got to know the logic of thinking, because if that is true, if a hand can have an ace, and I just gave you 3 different examples, that means 2 of those examples are wrong. So that can't be true. I know, trust me, it's a brain teaser, but it's one of those things that, you know why it's so hard? Because you're listening to the words literally. And you didn't realize I said, can a hand have an ace? Based upon those 3 examples I just gave you. That means if you say yes, that means 2 of those have to be wrong. And what I just said to you is that it could have one of these or, right? But the third one I gave you says a 10 and a jack, which had no ace, automatically suggests that, no, can't be. If I said the third hand could have an ace or, then yes, it could have an ace. It's deductive reasoning. Good.
So maybe I'm coming from the wrong context.
Can a motherfucker make some money off that? No, don't come at me with no fern stuff.
No, I'm gonna leave the pimp in the fern. You know? No, but so I mean, when my brain is processing this, I'm thinking of like a deck of cards and the probability of 4 aces being in a deck.
Assumptions.
Yes.
There you go.
So what I would like to be enlightened to is what is the context of, like, why is the third hand not having an ace mean that there's no potential of having an ace?
Because that means that if the first hand has an ace and then all those things are true, what I just gave you, then the third argument I gave you can't exist.
Because
10, because I said the hand has a 10 or jack, right? That means that in order for the ace to be a card that is definitely in all 3 of those examples would have to be right. They're not all right. They're out of alignment, which makes the question a no. You can't answer that question because there's a distortion in the question.
okay.
It's okay. It's one of those things where we listen to words so literally that a lot of times our distortions happen in just the words that we use. Language is so arbitrary that this is why you got to be so humble when you talk to people, because words alone, there's no such thing as a perfect human beings that communicate with perfect language. Even if you work with AI and say, rewrite this, you often say, nice, that's what the fuck I said, right? Language is that complex. So when you listen to language and you're doing business with people, like this is where government will get you a lot of times. You do contracts with them. They hit you with the letter of the law real fast. Like, did you see this? You're like, no. Then why didn't you read it? I gave it to you, right? And so knowing how can I say this? That before we get to the next layer, I'm trying to show you how our mind is interpreting and adding assumptions and creating scenario as opposed to just hear what I just said. I'm gonna send the actual equation to everybody in class and sit with it for a week until it comes to you. And you just say, got it. But it took, like, even when I first read it, I was like, wait a minute, whoa. Okay, it took a second. Because my brain was trying to interject my assumptions.
Was the key word in that statement the hand has? Because I'm not visually seeing it, so I'm trying to replay. Okay, now I understand.
Okay, now you understand. Okay, good.
Cool.
Okay, but let's go down. Let's go to that next line. That's just as much. It's so much power.
Second and related is the point that how a person sees a problem, how it's described to him, and how he feels about it, and his individual knowledge shapes how he reasons about it.
Do you all see how powerful that is? Can anybody tell me how powerful that is? I'm slowing this down because I'm not going to read this stuff fast, and you guys missed this one. How a person, okay, so it's telling you how a person sees a problem, how it's described to them. I can even say who describes it to you, how you feel not how you analyze it, how you feel about it,
Emotional reasoning.
and how, and his individual knowledge shapes, which is your assumptions, how he reasons about it.
I would say that this is kind of exactly priming, framing, and anchoring.
Oh, my
on
God.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what media does to everybody. Like when you see people getting mad and going out to all these marches, you never analyze it. All those just hit you. Or when somebody says, lawyers and doctors or professors or scientists say, and it's a person that's trustworthy, you never even say, hold on, let me look up it on. That shit ain't even true, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? How was COVID handled? COVID did this all day long to everybody. Y'all see how cold this is? This is, if you learn just to see this element here, this is what media plays on all the time. This is what false prophets play on. This is what pseudo thinkers use it all the time against you. They hit you with, I primed you first, I landed on you, and then I can even say, and you know what else they did? See that right there? I'm priming you. They did da 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 da. I can't believe that shit. You hear? And your brain goes, I gotta be damned, they did do that. Now you sharing my anger and my emotional contagion, even though you haven't analyzed the shit at all. And because you don't know, if I said, man, they shot this brother in Virginia. Them racist ass cops doing it again. What do you do? Oh man, you gotta see the video. You see how I'm doing, shaping you? You don't have no information. And the cold part says, you feeling like shit right now. You might not be able to drive home because you're thinking, time a cop drive by you. Oh my God. Just read that sentence one more time, Shakina. One more time.
Yes. Sorry.
Second and related.
Second and related is the point that how a person sees a problem.
So if you're already primed to see racism, you're already primed to see sexism, you're already primed to see homophobia, you're already primed to see animal abuse, you're already primed to see poverty, you're already primed, just keep it going on that list, right? So you're already primed. Now here comes the media. How
it's described to him.
So how it's described to you. Another racist moment just happened in the news today. I got you. I'm about to steal all your time, attention, money. And you haven't taken time. You don't know shit. Keep going.
How he feels about it.
I hate unfairness. I hate racism. I hate injustice. I hate rich people trying to take poor people money. You see how I'm framing you up, setting you up? Keep going.
And his individual knowledge.
I don't know shit about what's happening in the place where it just happened. All I'm going to do is take what happened over there and copy and paste something I see it in my own world. You see how my mental model just built a whole story that's going to direct me to go outside my house right now and go march, go send money off, go do all these different things, volunteer for all this stuff, and I don't have none of the facts. This happened with COVID. It happens with social justice. It happens with everything. It happens every day. It happens every week. Every week this shit's happening. And I'm watching people going, you're attention prostitute because this is the process of me exploiting your mental models. And until you get your emotions together, my goal in this class is to show you how your emotions are directly tied to your bank account. Keep going. Go ahead.
Shapes.
Okay, go ahead.
Me or Scott?
I had a quick question, but I'll wait till she's done.
Okay.
Shapes how he reasons about
So
it.
your reason is not pure. It's already been shaped and primed to produce the outcome that's already well expected. And guess who does this the most? Algorithms are killing you. Social media through algorithms are chasing down that emotional reasoning, and God forbid it's one of your favorite podcasters or entertainers who now have a podcast or a TV, a trusted news source that you find trusted for you, whatever the fuck it is. It could be your favorite college professor. I'm from Stanford, and I know you went to Stanford, and I want to tell you why I think this is absolutely sexist. And you have not taken one split second. What you're doing is now you're copying and pasting another mental model that has you frustrated to only find out that the person that was actually part of the crime primed the fuck out of that situation. But you'll never know. And now you're walking around, this world sucks and capitalism is evil and everybody sucks. and you're on a mental model roller coaster. Because you didn't even get on a plane and go over there and find out what happened. You didn't even open up your computer and start researching. Like, I don't want to hear all this news report. Give me the details. Until the detail comes out, I'm going to stay reserved. Nobody did. Mental model roller coasters. Finish the lineup? Finish that one up?
Since we are poor logicians,
Meaning we poor logic.
a problem's presentation strongly influences how we choose.
A problem's presentation, how it's presented to you, influences how you choose. You at work. Court. I think Lisa fucked up. Oh my God. I just talked to a customer and you've been in this situation before. And then we have to, this ain't nothing. But what some of you could do is like, oh shit, okay. Well, spend money on this, spend money, cut this off. Breathe. Your employees can present a problem in the company to you from their emotional space that makes you a poor decision maker because you don't realize this is a thing. Your emotions are not my emotions. When you walk into my office and say, this shit is fucked up, I start asking basic questions. Who died? No one. Okay, good. Was our bank robbed or was our money account robbed? No. Good. Who's the customer? It's this person. Cool. What happened? I'm trying to remove all your emotions, get the details. A lot of times I can just make a phone call and the problem's solved. Hey, Mike, heard what happened, man. Sorry it had to happen. I'm not with that. Listen, I processed it. What happened? I ain't really that bad. When I just was talking, I was pissed off. Am I lying?
No.
Makes me think of going back to the basics and when you guys taught about creating space between, making it, even waiting 24 hours before you make a decision. Give yourself time to be clear-headed.
This is advanced basics tonight. Mm-hmm. When you go to black belt, you're doing advanced white belt. I'm teaching advanced basics now. Like, fuck it. I'm going to teach you all those principles, but I'm going to put them in different mixtures to have different outcomes. But quite often, we think this shit ain't about basics. To even enter some of the stuff where I'm about to go into this class, if you haven't grasped the basics, I'm going to lose you. It's going to be like, I don't know, these words and these ideas are trying to get too far out there for me. So, you're 100% right. If you don't create emotional breathing space, you're making horrible ideas. That whole idea of celebrating being emotional and being a decision maker is an act of poverty, or it's an act of economic limitations.
It reveals scarcity, like over and over again. You're like, damn, I got exposed again. You like scarcity. Like, you mean it's 15 years and you still scarcity.
100%.
Yeah, I think you answered half of it. My question was, or she answered half of it, is making space the remedy, but also Nassim Taleb's falsification. Mm-hmm. So falsifying the information, being like, wait a minute, do I really know this? Like, let me recheck all this
First principle thinking. So when he said first principle thinking,
yeah.
This is where it applies a lot.
Yeah.
Because what do I absolutely know? Let me start from that. If I don't absolutely know this 100% sure, I'm starting to use my mental models to color the moment. And then I can be in a whole world over here where we all mad and it has nothing to do with reality whatsoever.
Right.
All right, next slide.
Tunneling.
So,
I remember that.
by the way, let me tell you know what anchoring, priming, and framing all had in common? They're tunneling. So, so let's get into this real quick. Tunneling is our first journey on decision making. And what we don't realize, we taught these basics, but I'm going to bring it all together so you can understand why it's so important. There are certain things that can happen in your day that can cause the most intelligent version of you right now that sits with me. So we can sit right now and there's no stress, no challenge. We can have the most entertaining, philosophical, thoughtful conversation I probably ever experienced. But when your emotions are flared, you become a fucking fool because you tunnel. Not fool like you stupid, but what you cannot see because of what tunneling does to you. So we're gonna get into I'm gonna work through the next 2 or 3 classes, excluding the next week's class, because we're gonna have more of a group discussion. But after that, we're gonna continue to discuss. I'm gonna discuss each tunneling subject, and I think tonight we'll start with anchoring. But these are all things that cause you to tunnel to make bad decisions that cost you hella money. Tunneling directly impacts your bottom line. Tunneling stops you from innovating and growing. Tunneling will stop you from growing your. Anytime fuck the word scaling, growing your business and even keeping your business. Many of you guys will have the best intent, with highly read all the books, and still cannot escape tunneling. Tunneling is one of those human behaviors where you have to put things in place to prevent you from victimizing yourself. I built an ecosystem around me to prevent me from hurting myself. There was somebody in this class that was buying real estate, and they were getting attacked. I'm talking about big real estate. We ain't talking about like the little, I bought me a little juke joint, but they was buying a big ass warehouse. And as they were buying a big ass warehouse, they were under attack of tunneling. And this person is extremely brilliant. I'm talking about extremely brilliant. But all of us can fall victim to what that person fell victim to because it's human. Our brain wasn't wired to deal with this shit. It wasn't wired to run a company. Your brain is not wired for that. Your brain is not wired to deal with the technology advancements of society today. Your brain is not wired for that. So tunneling is your natural, organic way to responding to an environment that is not designed for your organic mind to thrive. Let me say this again. Tunneling is your organic way of responding, natural way of responding in a world where your natural mind is not designed to thrive. So your common sense, flawed. Your super rational thinking, flawed. You got to know, this is going back to the Johari window. You got to know when your brain doesn't have the ability to show up. See, all these advancements I'm about to get into, but I'm about to really get into further so you can start to see how there's certain times where your intelligence will win. There's certain times where you have to say, all right, I need to call a friend because I don't trust myself. Go ahead.
I feel like the tricky but dangerous thing about all these biases is that they're actually not bad things. They're evolutionary adaptations that kept us alive 250,000 years ago, but they don't really work in the context of now.
That's 100% what it is. That's 100% accurate.
And it's so hard to debias them. Because you can know what they are, but can't escape them.
What happens, you need the herd to help you get through this. Let me say this again. You need the herd because you going on remember I said a long time ago that if you try to take the hero's journey in this business stuff, you're dead in the water already. Because you can't get past these biases. I don't give a shit who you are. I'm a very strong-minded person. I work on strengthening my mind all the time, and I'm a bitch to biases. I even know there's been times I've been angry in the middle of my emotion going, I know this is a fucking bias, but I can't stop. I promise you. That's why I had to build a circle of people around me that I had to have transparency with, communication with, humility with, feedback with, to escape my own biases.
That tunnel in the Magic City is real.
Yeah, wait one second now. You only that's not Magic City. He didn't mean that. Anyway, so those of you who don't know what Magic City is, you don't need to know. Okay, so read the tunneling, the things that impact tunneling. Go ahead.
Heuristics, prospect theory.
That's my favorite one.
Anchoring, representativeness.
Heuristics, yeah.
Availability heuristics, pattern recognition, stress, cognitive dissonance, incentives.
I'm going to teach all those. So these are all things that cause tunneling. These are things that you're manipulated by all the time. And once I teach this, you can go reflect back on the tunneling that just happened this week, last week, the week before. But this is going to show you all these different examples of tunneling. So let's get into the first one, anchoring and adjustment heuristics. Let's go.
Anchoring and adjustment heuristics.
Next slide, Josiah. There you go. Okay, go ahead.
In deciding, people often start with a specific piece of information or trait, anchor and adjust as necessary to come up with a final answer.
Pause. So this is where anchor, there's the number anchor, and there's also belief anchors. So I'll give you a poor anchor. When me and Court was 19, we anchored that we wasn't going to live past 25. So we made all of our decisions based upon the fact that we were going to live past 25. We were trying to maximize because I ain't going to make it past 25 anyway. It was ridiculously wrong, but that was an anchor for a lot of young black men growing up in Oakland at the time. We're not going to live past 25. If you got past 25, you was considered an OG because you made it. That was it. Not because you was older. You just made it past 25. Goddamn, you old. So these ideas about life, business, how the things work, once you frame that that's the way it is, you start to pull everything within its gravity. You guys get that part so far? All right, go ahead. The bias.
Adjust. Oh, sorry. Okay. The bias is for people to make insufficient adjustments from the anchor, leading to off-the-mark responses. Systemically, the final answer leans too close to the anchor, whether or not the anchor is sensible.
If you don't believe black people are not meant to be successful, you will pretty much anchor yourself, no matter how hard you work, because somehow you will make decisions through your biases that put you right back there. If you believe that you can never afford a house, you're never going to afford a house, because you'll make certain decisions that will anchor you right back there. And whatever you strongly believe, on top of that too, if you believe in a financial anchor, like for example, if you say, man, if I could just make $1 million, that might be as much as you get, as far as you get, because it's your anchor. Like there's so many different anchors we have in so many different categories. And then what happens is that we self-sabotage or we drive those anchors unconscious to ourselves because it happens in our subconscious. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to put myself on blast. But
Of course it.
it ain't even finna be what y'all think.
Okay, go ahead. Go. It's okay. It's okay. Let me turn my recorder on. Go ahead. Just lay it.
No, so I have this anchor about my business. Every time somebody asks me about the growth of Pinpoint, I have this very intentional space that I want to get to, that I have been like dead set anchored on for maybe the last 7 years. And as life is lifing, I'm realizing that the direction that I originally wanted to take my company of going mobile, even though that's like my anchor of like, this is what I want to do, because that's what I want to do. No, I know. But I'm like coming into a maturity of realizing that is the anchor that is like holding me back from looking at other opportunities and possibilities. So because I have not wanted to open a second brick and mortar, I have not wanted to consider franchising in multiple locations, I haven't even considered like talking to people that have been in that position, looking at what the market has impacting that, because I wanted to do something special and different. So that just made me think about that.
That's anchoring. You trap yourself and you don't realize you created a gravity of restrictions because you anchored on this is the way it has to be done. Somebody asked me today, said, Nana, where do you see 510 Media? And I said, I don't have a destination. All I can tell you is I want to see constant growth and make sure I'm always impacting the black community.
Now, let me ask this. So with that, like I'm open to saying that like that's an idea that I should be open to letting go if it doesn't serve me. What do you say to people when I feel like, going back to the book, The Entrepreneurial Seizure, what is the name of that book? The E-Myth Revisited, when they were talking about like most people fall into this entrepreneurial seizure and then like they're really just people like working, and then they somehow find themselves in this position and they figure out how to like make the things work, reinvent it, think about all of the possibilities. Some way or another, we all ended up thinking that we wanted to be entrepreneurs, and we all have this idea of how we wanted to do things. At what point or what systems or circles do you put in place to help you flush out, revisit, or open up and expand your thought process or circle? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, one one is it's a complete lifestyle. It's not just one thing you do. So it's also two. Does your friends does your environment and the friends you surround yourself fully embrace randomness? You really don't know what growth looks like, and when you try to assume at this point, you just create a mental model that becomes this restriction for you. It's not that you can't say, I want to grow or I would like to grow in these different areas, some areas I have interest in. But you really can't lock it in until you tested it. Right? I can tell you, think about the people who work on something, spend hella money on something and never tested it. Does the market want it? That's almost a waste of money and resources. Also, too, there's options because the future of the market is so random. You don't know what that's going to look like. Where Pinpoint goes may be something beyond your imagination. So you say, hey, I want to grow this to be a larger company. Cool. But it's more important about being adaptable than executing a plan. See the difference? So you should have a plan, but understand that the game is being adaptable because where you may land may be greater than you even imagined. For example, let's say Pinpoint grew and you haven't seen a gym in 3 years. But you're running the system of the gyms, and you're managing the system of the gyms, but you're not in the gym anymore. Yeah. But a lot of times when you think about scaling, you think about more clients and more clients. That's linear. That's not true, right? More clients may come to new systems where new people are running the system, and you have people taking over layers. So now you just working on strategy for your company. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times, this linear perception and this certainty perception is betraying us and anchoring us and freezing us from embracing uncertainty and randomness and taking advantage of those opportunities that come with that.
Thank you.
So this is a challenge and thought for me right now. My daughter, she just graduated from college.
Dope. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
that's what you got the New York hat and you didn't bring one for me? That's okay. I'll get over it. Go ahead.
And now that she's an adult, I'm realizing the way that we raised her, we've anchored her to follow systems to the degree that I'm afraid that it's going to stifle her innovation until she can get around, because she wants to be a physical therapist. And I'm like, yeah, you went to college, yeah, you did all the things, but now you can think past that. But she's so accustomed to following systems that I think.
Yeah, no, her escaping it, we don't know. Is that dangerous? Yes, it can be. But also the opposite extreme could be dangerous. There is always when you think about these type of things, do we even know? Do I know? Did I raise your daughter? I don't know. Right? Like, what if your daughter didn't have systems and she was now at the clubs getting high every night? Right? What I would argue, what I would suggest to you is just have these conversations with her. Like I told my son the other day, so my son was gossiping about his job. And I said, hey, me and your mother failed you because when you were little one, we were focusing on right versus wrong and fairness. And so we told you this teacher sucks. And well, he didn't tell him that, but you can tell in our actions. So now when he got his first job, my supervisor sucks. So then I took a little time, spent some time with him. No, his work ethic sucks. That's what he sucks. But he's got with his friends like, oh, these people suck and they doing me wrong. I said, we gave you that bad behavior. So I'm gonna tell you now because you're young. Because when you're young, they are as malleable as anybody in the world. I said, we introduced this idea to you. And you may not get what the fuck I'm saying right now, but you won't never say I didn't tell you so. That's a bad idea. You need to go back to work and figure out what you had to do with these problems. And I promise you, you'll discover more about your work ethics than you realize. He had to quit his job a week later, asked him, and shit sucks. I said, did you ever ask him what role you played in it? No. Next morning he wakes up, I quit my job. I really should have quit my job. Okay, well, you're going to learn. Welcome to life. I'm not going to be mad at you. What am I going to do? But at the end of the day, it's like, by me having that transparency with him, it gives him an opportunity to make the adjustments as opposed to becoming a strong anchor that he or she would say, nah, it's just the way it is. This is what life is. And we got friends like that. We know adults right now be like, this is just the way it is. You're like, no, it's not. But if you try to say anything different, you may be fighting that person. So just as long as you have transparency, like, hey, because you know what's so crazy about parents is because parents raised us under rules and structures, most of us can never see our parents. Because we see our parents through a God lens. And they're supposed to be perfect and not make mistakes. All of our parents are hella flawed. Ain't nobody can hear my voice and didn't have fucked up parents, flawed parents. Right? They did, because at the end of the day, that's all human beings, we're all flawed, including our kids. So what I try to do is bring that transparency of authority, but also transparency. All right, go ahead, keep going this one. Let's finish this slide.
But the point that Kahneman emphasized was that even if you explain anchoring to a group,
So even if you understand anchoring, keep going.
it does not sink in. You
Okay,
can-
stop. So no matter how many times we teach it, it doesn't sink in. Tomorrow, if he goes buy a car, he gonna fuck up again. he go fuck up. Oh shit, you done fucked up again, boy. Right? It takes time to like. All these biases and behaviors is practices. When you for example, when I go buy a car, anybody ever go with me to go buy a car? A different version of me comes on.
Yeah.
I'm not me no more.
Not as the
Because I don't trust me. I go into the actor version of me to get this car sold, and I'm a beast. I'm almost evil, right? Like it's almost like I'm not even that person. I mean, this one dude's like, "Yo, man, but I gotta feed my family." I don't know about your fucking family. I'm talking about your family again. What I did was I literally was calling out his tricks, and it sounded like an asshole. If you sit in another room, you'd be like, "Who the fuck is over there?" But tell me if I didn't get that car for crazy cheap prices. When I brought my company van, I think used the shit was 20 grand. I got my shit brand new for 20 grand. I walked in there with 20 grand. He kept telling me all these, bruh, if you tell me one more of these weak ass stories, I was really doing that to him every time. Because I know if I start listening to your story, I'm a human. I'm be like, damn, okay, he does have a family. Damn, he is trying to take care of his kids. But then what you forget is you tunneling because you don't realize I ain't his only sale. This ain't how he actually makes, how does he actually make his money? Do I know? How's this all rated? Is it by volume or is it by individual commission? Am I making this assumption? Right? All these assumptions I start, because I'm tunneling. When I'm tunneling, my assumptions are taking over the moment. I'm not thinking of all the outside information, and he's winning. Right? So everything I do, if I go into a business meeting with negotiation, I already know, okay, make sure you do this first. If the person does that and they anchor you first, then try to re-anchor as fast as you can, but go ridiculously astronomical. They're like, yo, we only got 20,000. Man, I ain't never seen this shit done at 150,000. I don't know how we're gonna do that. I had to say that so fast because once my brain is up that 25,000, I can't. I'm gonna be like, okay, what about 35, 40 or something like that? The job's a $75,000 job. Why am I even talking about $35,000, $40,000? I'm compromising everybody, which means I'm going to underpay. I'm getting underpaid. That means I'm going to deliver a half-ass service, which means that my brand's going to take a hit in gossiping to other people. You see where I'm going with this? So you got to know your weaknesses. You got to know your Johari window. You got to know yourself to get into this motherfucking game. like y'all see where I'm going with this? Like this bias shit is so cold that I don't care for how much you think about it, how many times you read it, subconsciously you still get punked. Go ahead. Ashton Kutcher.
Hey, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's why it takes years to even understand the concept of it.
Years.
It's not a quick understanding and then quick application, because you literally have to go against your nature to learn this stuff, and it can take years to go against your nature.
And watch, as we go further into this, it's gonna get worse. This is the beginning. This is soft shit. It gets way worse. Keep going.
You can run an experiment right after a decision of the concept and still see the bias in action.
So I can tell you what the bias is. Run the experiment, and you still gonna get caught, anchored. It's hard for your brain to escape it. If you go to do business with anybody and they start talking about numbers, you better come up with your numbers as fast as possible. Because if you don't, and you're just trying to be like respectful and everything, you're about to lose this battle.
Well,
Even though you thought you won.
Well, perfect example was when Brendan went in with the framing and anchoring.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we just talked about everything that it was, and then he did the thing. and then try to reverse it. But
Because it's a deep subconscious thing that he's hella brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't get the game twisted. But his brilliance doesn't have access to control his natural
Like the subconscious,
human reaction. Yeah, it's like as an animal we have certain natural, like if a snake came in this room, we're not gonna be like, oh my God, that's a snake. I wonder if it's poisonous. Should we run? You'll run and go, did anybody see it? Like literally, that's the brain you're working with in business. You don't think because you've been in business, are you muscular, are you smart, don't think you're gonna escape that. You're an animal in business and you're victims of these mental models. Keep going. All right, so we okay.
The main reason psychologists believe is that anchoring is predominantly subconscious.
Next slide.
Sorry. Why don't people make sufficient adjustments from an anchor to come up with accurate estimates?
So once somebody hits your anchor, why can people don't make why? Let's keep going.
Work by Nicholas Epley, a psychologist at the University of Chicago Business School, and Thomas Gilovich, a psychologist at Cornell University, suggests that we start with an anchor and then move towards the right answer. But most of us stop adjusting once we reach a value we deem plausible or acceptable.
You hear what that word was? Once you deem it plausible or acceptable, you stop battling. So when I say I re-anchor, I'm adjusting my brain so I can be in a negotiation. But if I feel like, that sounds about right, that sounds fair. That's what I heard somebody else was paid before. That's what they usually charge. You see what I just did? Man, no one say Nike's cost that, Adidas cost. So I see why Court Smith's cost that too. That makes sense to me. Did they all pay the same price? You don't know. If Court has small volume and Nike has big volume, who paid more? Court. But your assumption says, nah, they paid this much at Court. They paid this much at Adidas. You see how you tunneled and you didn't think about all the variables that surround it? You didn't even ask questions. You didn't even say, okay, what was your cost, bro? I don't want to tell you that. Okay, then obviously we start this conversation from my anchor. Like, you don't do that. You just might be like, well, he probably paid this. You see what happened there? Once you deem it acceptable, you're done.
So then if you don't have no emotional agility, every single time you caught off guard, you're done.
Woo! Matter of fact,
It's like
our community is too fucking emotional for business. The more emotional you are, the more you will be destroyed in business. And when they say sharks, those who are at the top of the game, don't sit at the table if you ain't got your emotions together. If you still get sensitive because they didn't use the right pronoun or didn't look at you or didn't acknowledge you, don't sit at this table.
Oh man.
You better go sit at the table and knit. Don't sit at this table.
Hey, even if I can start the conversation, be like, you probably couldn't afford this. What you say? You're done.
You're done. I got you.
You're done.
This is something I wanted to ask about earlier when you were talking about anchoring, but Donna was saying he was going to talk about anchoring earlier. I'm super curious to hear both of you guys' perspective of how, when you're in an anchoring negotiation, how you guys recognize and use emotion against your counterparts.
Oh yeah, it's a dance. It's not. There's no 1-2 formula. You're like in fighting, right? In fighting, you'll be like, so when I get in the ring, I'm gonna go left, right, left. But what you're doing is the person who can establish the strongest anchor wins. Period. Number 2 is that you're looking. Okay, depends on what kind of animal you. If I'm battling a real wolf, you gotta also pay attention to their techniques around emotions. Because a lot of times they use emotions to manipulate dogs all the time. So when a wolf meets another wolf, you'd be like, so you won't sit there and act like you're getting mad about that? You're like, nah, I just use that on a little soft way. Anyway, let's go over this again. Like literally you call the more, you remember there was a saying in church that says, the way you get rid of Satan, you say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You call Satan out. The way you get rid of a lot of anchors, some behaviors and strategies, call the strategy out directly. It's almost like you pull the air out of the strategy. So a lot of times when I'm in a discussion, like even when somebody says, well, answer my question, is it this or that? I said, I don't believe in entrapment. So if you want to have a discussion, let me know. But if I say, okay, well, it's kind of this, but see, you just anchored me. When you say it's either this or that, I'm trapped. I'm anchored. So whatever I answer, you're already I'm starting to give you ground, right? The way I would protect my ground is say, I refuse to engage that conversation because you're trying to entrap me. You're like, damn, this cat just say, or Shakita tell you my other famous statement, I'm out. I'm out. Because to walk away often weakens another person's anchor.
Right.
So there's all these different techniques I use depending on the opponent I'm battling with, and this comes from the practice of engaging in like negotiation. I have to negotiate all the time with all kind of people. That's why sometimes when like I have to negotiate with somebody who's not trained, I've told people, if anybody knows me, I told people to say this to their face.
I already know.
Go find somebody who's trained in negotiation because I'm really good. I'm gonna warn you. Go find somebody that's more advanced because you can't handle me. I'm warning you.
Right.
I've done it to people. They don't know I can handle it. All right, let me eat. Let's start to eat because you ain't gonna stop this bite. I'm about to eat because you're not strong enough to prevent me from achieving my goals.
I love the labeling thing you just said because it neutralizes their frame and then you have the frame again, so you're the one who's framing it. I love that.
Oh, I do
Thank you.
so much. Even the way I walk in a room, I'm priming you. Why do you think my posture matters? Why do you think my handshake matters? Why do you think my voice tone of my voice matters? Why do you think my happiness and self-confidence and my swag matters? It's shaping a lot of it's increasing the probability of my outcomes.
I get some. We talked about in class where you think in numbers, you speak in stories. That's because of this stuff. So when they're anchoring, you're thinking in numbers, and you're burning their stories. You're burning it and just narrowing it down to the numbers. The other thing is because I'm not naturally a negotiator. Like I had to learn this shit through trial and error, failure, and what helped me is creating distrust, whether they're honest or not. I had to create this little button that says whatever's coming out their mouth, they're lying, which helped me negotiate better, because I'm like, so he tells me he got to feed his 7 kids, fucking lying. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Whether you do or not, in the mode of negotiation, I have a switch that says everything come out of your mouth, you're lying, you're bullshitting me, which gives me like, man, stop that. All right, let's get to the numbers. And everything he says is real. It's an anchoring game. So here's the deal. You'll rarely come across people who know this shit. At the higher levels you get, you will come across some, but most of the time you won't even. They won't. It's like when we in the gym working out, you see all these buff people and muscles and men and women, and you could be programmed thinking the world is like that, but once you walk out the gym, there's not another 1,000 people that you can walk past that's in shape. It's the same shit with this. It's like you'll be surprised how powerful you'll be, because it'll be like a giant amongst little kids.
And it's so much fun. I gamify it. I always gamify it. My daughter got a chance to see me negotiate the other day, and I was like, this is hella cool. She got a chance to see me. Somebody told me I couldn't have something. And by the time I got through with it, they gave me what I wanted and a whole bunch of extras. Yeah, just because at the end of the day, it's like, you really want to do this? Come on, man. I'm really good at this. And I use reframing. I did a lot of reframing. Because the person said, this is the rules. I said, oh, so this is also the rules, I'm assuming, by your answer. No, that's not our rules. So you're suggesting by you not providing this for me, this is what you stand behind, and this is what you would like me to share with the public as well as my friends. No, that's not what I'm saying. So if that's not what you're saying, let's get back to what I was asking for. and it's like I'm just, by the time the person got through, they're like, here you go. Oops. So this is a powerful game. Keep going.
Hey, can I jump in one quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, y'all know what we've gone through. We had to deal with a lot of angry customers. So now we're down to the last 12 or 13 or whatever. So we asked our sales team to say, all right, the most angriest, worst customers that you're having problems with, just give them to us. And me and Marlon will handle them. So Marlon is naturally fucking brilliant at this shit, naturally.
Really that, yeah.
So we just having a contest of which customers, the contest was like, who's in love with Court Smith at the end. That's the contest. And they cussed you out, they cussed Jordan out, they cussed him out. All right, call him. And the contest between me and him was like, how can we make them be like, man, I'm fucking with Court Smith. And that's the game that we played amongst each other. And he was like 7 for 7. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I was 6 for 7. But it's using all these tools.
Yeah. These tools are, like I said, I use them all the time. They're not. I don't just use them for special occasions. I practice this all the time. And when I first started, I was trash.
Me too.
I was like Brendan, like, how much would you? Because I ain't got no money. Man, you got me fucking. I'm about to. Man, I'm walking down there free. Go ahead. So go ahead, Chiquita. Same slide.
The second paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anchoring is relevant in high stakes political or business negotiations. In situations with limited information or uncertainty, anchors can strongly influence the outcome.
I want you to hear that phrase, what you just said. This is I'm trying to tune your brain to see how this is advanced. It says, in a world with uncertainty and limited information, anchoring is a superpower. Nobody has all the information, and all human beings suffer from uncertainty. It's a tool you use to navigate this world of human beings. Stay with me. Keep going.
For instance, studies show that the party that makes the first offer can benefit from a strong anchoring effect in ambiguous situations.
An ambiguous situation, when things are unclear, the person who can throw out the number the first has leverage. Go ahead.
Developing and recognizing a full range of outcomes is the best protection against the anchoring effect.
Read that again. Developing and recognize a full range of outcomes. Remember when Course says, I'm getting back to the numbers, you doing your early research before you even show up gives you superpower. A lot of you guys go in there and you want something and then you are a fan. Do you know that most people who buy companies, large companies, they overpay? Because they're becoming anchored by just the process. Once you understand the value that what you're trying to purchase, if you ever been around me, I always say, I'm not paying that much. You're like, no, how you know how much it costs? It doesn't make any sense. It's because I have certain data that says it couldn't possibly cost that much. You're marking it up for a trend. So when popular trends pop off around stuff, I've never paid trend prices. I already know that they're anchoring, and I automatically figure out where can I use my tools to get the price I want. That's common. But I'm not a person to be like, and then we see how anchor supporters do like this. Like, say you have a friend, they be like, yeah, that's what it cost me. That's what I paid. Excuse yourself in this room. I'm having a conversation when grown folks are talking. I don't give a shit about what you paid. And I always pay less than that. If y'all see how the kind of shit of money I be spending, I'm the king of negotiating. I love this shit. Keep going.
No, it's the same one. If you are sitting on the other side of the I guess I should start saying so. Developing and recognizing a full range of outcomes is the best protection against the anchoring effect. If you are sitting on the other side of the table,
So before you come to that table, do your research. The less ambiguous you are, the more empowered you are. This is negotiation. I'm showing you some techniques on. You're in a room and you don't know what you should be paid. You already lost. You're in a room. You don't know how much your value is. You already lost. You're in a room. You don't know what the base rate and what you're trying and what your value argument is. You already lost. If you didn't do your priming, your anchoring, your frame. If you didn't do your priming, framing, suggestive sales, whatever, you already lost. You got to know how to design what you want. Going into the room and go, I deserve. You said nothing. That's your mental model got you fucked up. Next slide.
Prospect theory.
Woo! Hold on, freeze. I gotta take a breath for this one. This one, prospect theory. I'm not gonna finish tonight, but I'm gonna be so mad I can't finish this one tonight because prospect theory is so heavy. Prospect theory. Let me give you a quick summary before we get into it. You don't realize how much when you are threatened, extremely uncomfortable, or have high risk, your emotional brain takes over, and your rational brain justifies your emotional decisions. And if you're super emotional,
Put an S on your chest.
oh my God, you are literally the trick of the industry. I'm talking about. We're gonna go into different examples. I'm gonna give you different examples of you'll be like, damn. Prospect theory also will show you where you say to somebody, well, why didn't you think about me at that moment? They couldn't think about you at that moment. They were forced. When somebody's hit with these categories, their brain by default is automatically tunneling. This is when you pick up the phone, call other people. Prospect theory is fire. Let's jump into prospect theory. Let's go.
Bet. Prospect theory is a behavioral economics theory developed by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky.
Thinking Fast and Slow was written around prospect theory. Go ahead.
In 1979. It describes how people make decisions under conditions of risk and uncertainty, especially when the outcomes involve gains or losses.
Key thing is gains and losses. So, are you in business of gains and losses? Do you care about anybody in the room? Anybody in this room don't care about gains and losses. So, your brain literally alters the way it functions when you're at the table of your gains and losses. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the next slide. This is one of my favorite theories of all time. Go ahead.
It is a fact that our brain tends to go for superficial clues when it comes to risk and probability.
So the brain goes for superficial clues when it goes for risk and probability. So by the way, if you ever come and talk to me about and you stuck in prospect theory, I'm gonna make you feel really stupid because a lot of your thoughts and ideas are superficial because your brain is doing it automatically, not because you're dumb. Matter of fact, if you were helping somebody else out, you would see the ignorance, but because it's you don't realize how elementary your thinking is becoming. Keep going.
These clues being largely determined by what emotions they elicit or the ease with which they come to mind.
So, if your emotions are elicited, which they are, and how easily they come to mind, the more your brain becomes, it tries to simplify and reduce making your decisions. You ever see somebody make a decision on spending an expensive item that later on it just dies in their closet? But did you ever listen to them talk about it when they were about to purchase it? They almost sound retarded. They forget their history. They forget that all the other shit that's in the closet that they brought with the same argument. It's just the brain. And here's the funny part. This person's highly educated. So now you're making business decisions and partnerships and collaborations and vendor relationships, and this because your wins and losses are under threat. You don't realize you're not you, and you think because when you sit with Scott at the cafe and have coffee, you have a deep conversation. That's the same person making decisions in the face of wins and losses. It's not. Pay attention to your emotional decisions because it tells you a lot on your business decisions. Your emotional decisions are more closely tied to your business decisions than your relaxed decisions. If you're relaxed and you make a lot of decisions, but pay attention to what decisions you make when you're angry, frustrated, scared, stressed out, that is a decision. That's a decision maker that shows up to your business. Is that cold? Think about that. So when you relax and comfortable, that's the lights. Justin, I don't know. Something going with these crazy ass lights. But the thing is that, so go over this real quick. So here what I've just said again. When you're comfortable and relaxed, it's totally different than the decisions you make when you're in a situation that, so think about it. So for example, you home, you get mad, your girlfriend call you irritated, male friend call you irritated, something happens in the news, pay attention to that version of you. Because that version is closer to the person that's showing the risk taking you taking every day. Don't get fooled with the person that when they calm, they had their coffee, they relax, they chill, they haven't read the news yet, and they're very philosophical. That person is not running your company. This is cold game. This is why you got to learn how to find some evenness and kill to you, because that person that you're trying to manage, to find that even kill, is a person that is managing your money. The person managing your money is the one to be like, what the fuck? I wish a motherfucker would. That's managing your money. Who's not managing your money is, I have this philosophical, I want to explore this hypothesis. That person doesn't manage your money.
Hold on, wait. What the fuck? Yo, run it back. Okay. So, because I feel like you're talking about me, and I'm okay with that. But feels highly targeted. No. No, but on a real note, so let's say that we do realize that our baseline self is not ideal. what do you do to bridge that gap as you're trying to grow so that you don't go into this whole victim, woe is me bullshit thing that doesn't do anything for you? Like, how do you bridge the gap between your calm Zen self where you put the time in versus like your heuristics and your natural automation?
Let's first of all, you're softening the blow. How you gauge the gap between your thoughtful side and your emotional, irresponsible side? Make it that simple.
Okay.
Because you have to, first of all, not use the language to soften your attention.
Yes.
Also, adjust your attention to the point that you got to. A lot of us don't prioritize changing our emotional behavior. How many people change? Most of you. Remember I said inconsequential. How we sometimes make things inconsequential. Yeah, but I'm just. Yeah, but I grew up. Yeah, but this is how I grew up. This is yeah. Then you don't realize, because a lot of us don't understand the outcome of our emotional behavior. We think our emotional behavior is just likable behavior. I ain't gonna do my business, because if I'm doing business, I'm doing business. No, but when you're making business decisions, you're making emotional business decisions because your brain, that's closer to your character of every day, because you're gonna discover as we go through this process, oh shit, I did do that. Oh shit, I don't do this. Oh shit. And it's all emotional dance you're doing. So emotional intelligence that we've been talking about as a basics in this class, developing that is allowing you to be an even keel and have more strength in your decision making. If you ever watch, I've sent a podcast to court, I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago. I was like, dude, listen to this dude. You don't need to care about what he's talking about, but just listen to this dude. This dude manages billions of dollars. He was so even keel. Like, you feel like you could hit him in the face and be like, hey, just wait to me, do I have to beat your ass or something? Why would you do that? Like, just, when I was online, the dude was so mellow. You're like, God damn. And I even told him, I said, that's what I'm working on. Now, mind you, so when you guys start saying, where's the old Nana? You mean the broke Nana? I left that motherfucker back there in the broke city. The one to be like, shut your fucking mouth. I wish you would. You can't whoop me, right? That emotional space was also, I'm in a meeting and I'm negotiating with Brendan, he pisses me off. I would be like, all right, man, fuck it, I'm gonna let this go. Man, fuck you then, I don't need your contract. What? Whoa, why are you scaling with that kind of mindset? Right? Or I would not even say go that strong. I just may say certain things that make him be like, I don't even know if I like Nana anymore. So at what point do my emotional behavior align with my thinking behavior? And that means I have to work on emotional intelligence.
There's a question online.
Go ahead.
Fern asks, will the examples we go through on prospect theory cover the superficial cues mentioned in the first paragraph?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to just try to get one more slide. Let's finish this slide and get the next slide. I think we're going to close it out.
Okay. In addition to such problems with perception of risk, it is also a scientific fact and a shocking one that both risk detection and risk avoidance and not mediation in the thinking part of the brain, but largely in the emotional one.
So when risk happens, it doesn't happen in your thinking part of your brain. If you feel risk, like you feel like this is going to be an investment, you want me to spend how much? What if this shit goes wrong? What if this shit doesn't work? The part of your brain that takes over is not your thinking part of your brain. It's all because it's low spending, it's heuristics, it's emotional. So you're not using the part of your brain that's philosophical at the cafe when you're faced with wins and losses. You get this? The part of your brain that takes over now is emotional. It's just that your brain, you're going to describe it very rational on the back end.
It's the limbic part of your brain. It doesn't even use language.
The problem with the word limbic is that's a false theory that was created years ago, and it still hasn't broken from the industry. Neuroscientists won't support it. I can see articles on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
That's the argument that me and Mashama had 3 years ago, and then he looked it up. Was like, oh shit. So the limbic part of the brain doesn't work like that, but it was created by this psychologist, I think in the early 70s, but he wasn't really a good psychologist, and he didn't take in neuroscience. And neuroscience is like, that's not how the brain works at all. It's not.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The consequences are not trivial. It means that rational thinking has little, very little, to do with risk avoidance.
So wait, what did it say? So read that again. Read that. Consequences are not trivial at all. It means that the rational thinking has little, very little. He didn't say just just a little bit. very little to do with risk avoidance. Keep going.
Much of what rational thinking seems to do is rationalize one's actions by fitting some logic to them.
So you done made an emotional decision, and then you try to make it sound very philosophical. Now your rational brain turns on and be like, yeah, but what I was really thinking, why I processed this is because the limbic brain, you understand me, is, no, bro, you just no, bro, you were just purely emotional. And the reason earlier I said use the correct language earlier is because the brain can create distortion by saying, yeah, when I'm doing this, but it's kind of like I'm just not being that, which implying like, no, I'm blind, I'm tunneling. When I make decisions in my office, depending on how I feel, I tunnel and I make decisions that when my rational brain finally does come on, it goes, all right, let me try to explain that shit. But then you finally don't just say, damn, no, I can't get out of my business. I don't know why I can't get my business to grow. Now you're trying to be rational, not reflecting back that in the moments of decisions, you were never rational. And now you're trying to have a rational, disconnected conversation from the irrational decision maker that shows up at your office every day. You see how cold this shit is? That no one told black people, like, hey, turn them emotions down. You remember when what the comedian said, how we had this tone of, I wish a motherfucker would? And we all knew what that meant. But that same emotional tone is behind a lot of our economic suffering. Once you get into this game, I will show you something that sounds real emotional, but you don't know it's emotional. White people are, if it's negative, that's all emotional. You say, what do you mean it's all emotional? What does that mean? Let's just say, even if it's true, what does that mean? And are you reflecting that it makes you feel bad that they are this way, that's stopping you from achieving some way, so you feel a sense of unfairness? Do you understand how that's all emotional? Because even if I'm a certain way, doesn't mean I'm God. So that means I may say, I don't want you to go out this door. Don't mean y'all can't push me down. Can't mean you can't go around me. Don't mean you can't go out the other door. Right? But when you're emotional, you will literally look at me at the door and be like, I guess we stuck in this building because he don't want to move. You see that? Like if you think about a lot of these movements that we talk about, I need you to recognize my pronoun, scale that out. Is it emotional or is it rational? I need you to see me more. And I don't have a great level of skill. I don't have a great level of impact in the company. Is that emotional or is that rational? Does it matter if I personally, not walk by me and he just ignored me, he's a sexist. Does that matter? Even if I am, does it matter? What can I do with you? There's 8 billion people on this earth, roughly. That's 8,000 million people. Why the fuck you care about this one? You mean you went home and can't sleep because one person? Is that emotional or is that rational? If you keep building on a lot of your ideas, you're going to realize how much you've been hijacked by emotional principles and emotional shaped mental models because you can't get past prospect theory. And once you start learning to break and crack that part of your brain open, I don't think you guys understand how powerful this shit I'm teaching you right now. A lot of shit in business that you're struggling with is emotional driven rationalization that later on you are trying to intellectually, even emotionally support. No, this is just where I stop. I don't give a fuck. This is where I am. I don't give a fuck. This is it. I built my business because this is where I stand. This is it. How'd you get there? Because this is what I believe. See, what I came up in, are you trying to rationalize poor emotional decision when you're in the face of making those decisions, your concept development, your poor mental models, as opposed to trying to explore your limitations to make the best decision that serves you? You know what? I ain't never fuck with that business again. How long you gonna live? How long? What the fuck does that mean? When do you die? If you accept you're gonna die, how many of our angers and frustration are just purely emotional and has no rational meaning? How are you cutting certain customers off? Court told a message. He said something that was so dope and y'all missed it. He said his vendor burned him and his vendor called him back. His emotions wanted to tell him, fuck you. But he started to calculate, does this make sense? Can I make a profit from this? Should I move forward? Meaning that he was able to lay his emotions down and go to a pure calculation dance. I don't know what decision he made because it's based upon what he discovered. What I'm trying to show you is that a lot of times a vendor could piss you off and you'll make a decision not to fuck with them, not realizing that vendor, it gives you the best chance to win against competition. But you already made your emotional processing and you corrupted the whole experience, and now you tainted the whole situation. You mad at one employee because they don't, maybe something that just irritates you. That emotional decision allows you to let go of this star performing employee that goes to your competition and gives you an ass whooping. Like, you guys don't realize it's contaminated through a lot of your decision making. That's why I'm slowing this shit down, because I'm like, you guys, we've been telling you guys about emotional intelligence for a long time, but now I'm going to show you how the shit works. And that when you're in a situation where there's profit or loss, don't think that you're being super rational. Don't lean on your ego going, I know who I am. I'm hella smart. I studied motherfucking business and science. And I got a partner who I was trying to advise one time. I sat down with him. I gave him some detailed discussion. He started telling me about his degrees and his engineering background. And when his emotional decision that he didn't realize was emotional hit, he went back to zero. I'm talking about he had way more money than I did, and went way back to zero because he thought the engineer, the educated version of him, the test taker, was in this decision of profit and loss. Let's finish. Okay, we finished this sentence. We finished this slide.
Yeah. We're on
Yeah,
the
next slide. Next, we're gonna do one more slide, and we'll go home.
In that sense, the description coming from journalism is certainly not just an unrealistic representation of the world, but rather the one that can fool you the most by grabbing your attention via your emotional apparatus.
Whoa! Did y'all read that? He said. He said. In that sense, the description coming from journalism. Meaning when you watch most news, when you watch most media, when you watch most TV, see, we're worrying about what AI is going to do to society. We still haven't got past what social media and television has done to society. And automatically, especially today's journalism, is devoid of healthy thinking and is exploiting our emotional. So stay with me, people. Hear what I'm about to say to you. Journalism is designed to exploit your emotional decision making in risk and losses, wins and losses. So when journalism is talking to you, it's not talking to you to talk to your rational brain. It's talking to your emotional brain that will give it your attention because you're in a different certain state. You see where I'm going with this? Your brain, when you turn on the news and Donald Trump did something that you disagree with, or President Biden did something you disagree with, whether you'd right or left, or Israel just lit up another country, right? Your brain is going to want to drift in emotional space. When the media talks to you, it doesn't try to reach the logical brain. You don't even want to hear that shit. Matter of fact, you don't even want to hear it. You want to hear somebody be like, that's crazy, that's wrong, oh my God, it's evil, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. I was with somebody today, and they said, no, with all this shit, because I told them about my son. So by the way, I don't know, women, do you guys know that, hold on a second, let me look this up real quick, hold on. Did you guys know that, what's it? Hold on a second, let me get this real quick. Okay, women, did you guys know, you're women, just women alone. You guys ever heard of selective services? You know, when a male turns 18 in this country, he has to sign up by government law for selective services. So if a draft happened, it's time to go. You know that's a requirement. And if you don't, you know they can take away your citizenship, throw you in jail, and remove your access to a lot of the rights that's in this country. So I'm having this conversation, which I said is kind of crazy. We still have these male-female conversations, and there's some of these invisible elements of being a man and being a woman that we don't show the true separation of. Like, a partner said somebody gave him a call that somebody was breaking in the house. So him and his partner ran out the house to the next door to make sure the house was being broken in. He didn't stop before he got to the door and say, hey, babe, get your shit, let's go. Because as a man, that's our responsibility. So, you got all that machismo. Well, you better hope the fuck he has machismo. Because you don't want him to be like, oh my God, you think he's close to my house too? Bad neighborhood. Anyway, so my friend says, yeah, I guess your son really have to be concerned, especially with all the shit's going on. I said, freeze. Are you suggesting a possibility of war? He said, yes. I said, that's poor logic. So what do you mean it's poor logic? The reason it's poor logic because you don't think about all the random things that had to happen when that war happened. So there may have been multiple Hitlers in history that history favored itself towards that Hitler's behavior because he won. So all the historians wrote, he was an amazing man. He conquered. But realistically, if you look at the way he got down, Genghis Khan, which is a cold animal, he was a cold animal, the way he got down. He killed everything he came across, right? I'm not sure if he engaged in cannibalism, but somebody else engaged in cannibalism.
No, he just killed and had sex with everything.
He also I think it's 1/4 to 1/3 of males on this planet have his DNA.
Yeah, sex with everything.
Right. So now that's but because he won the war, he gets to be celebrated, right? So what we don't realize, I said, what's flaw in your thinking is that the reason you can't copy the past and move to the future because you don't see all the surrounding things that was randomly happening at the time that allowed that war to happen. Also, you don't see currently all the random things that's happening around Israel, all the random conversations of the people you can't see, all the random relationships and partnerships and resources. So when you sit at home and you listen to journalism, guess what they're doing? They're exploiting your emotional space because they realize you can't think. And guess what you do? You tunnel. You tunnel. So journalism is not designed to speak to your rational brain. It's designed to speak to your emotional brain and force you into deeper tunneling, which makes you make poor decisions. So now when you're ready to build your business, you're taking that poor ass thinking to the business table. You're a wolf in the field talking about, well, what they usually do in the woods, they usually go over here. You're dead. Like literally you don't know the game you're playing.
I'm an underwriter, and I had to turn off the news while I'm working because hearing what was going on in the economy would impact the way I would look at a region for an appraisal. Like, for instance, it was a Texas flood, so I'm doing, you do your due diligence to make sure. So I had to turn off the news because just hearing about the economy, when I saw certain kind of borrowers that kind of would field a study, whether they were an immigrant, non-permanent resident alien, I'm like, are you going to be in the country for long enough to buy the house? Like things that, so that's an example.
It's you'd be surprised how much you're being undertrained by television to run a business. Like there's a way to watch TV and extract and to see some human patterns, but it's very limited. Like when I watch TV, it's purely entertainment. Even if it's like, hey, you see this documentary? I'm like, do you realize the manipulative power of a documentary? It's designed to force tunneling. And in the end result, I primed you the whole fucking time to share and this is why this is wrong. You'd be like, oh no, this shit is hella wrong. And you realize, I didn't think about this shit 2 months ago. I didn't feel like this at all. And even when you start going out there and start telling the people in the public, you realize, but. What that documentary did is force tunneling. Keep going.
Take the mad cow threat, for example.
Woo.
Over a decade of hype, it only killed people in the highest estimates in the hundreds as compared to car accidents, several hundred thousands. Except that the journalist's description of the latter would not be commercially fruitful. Not that the risk of dying from food poisoning or in a car accident on the way to a restaurant is greater than dying from mad cow disease. The sensationalism can divert empathy towards wrong causes, cancer and malnutrition being the ones that suffer the most from the lack of such attention.
So the things that can really kill you, I think Talem Nassim said, if you went to an airport right now and said, hey, you want to buy some insurance for travel, no matter and for death, no matter what happens, buy some insurance for death. He says, this is prospect theory. But say you go back in there, 30 minutes later, you go, hey, anybody want go in the same place? Say you go to the Middle East. Hey, you want to buy some insurance for possible death through terrorism? Which one you think is sell the most?
Terrorism.
By far. Even though the first one was the same one. But because it's prospect theory, I framed it in a certain way. Your brain, I reframed it. I used framing. That's prospect theory. And I put the word terrorism in it. But the first promise, I say, if you die for any reason, it's the same one. But you would pay more for the terrorism and spend more. If I say the terrorism cost you at least about about $2,000 for this plane trip, you'd be like, oh shit, anything can cost because it's crazy over there. But if I say, hey, you could die for any reason, I'm selling for $300, you'd be like, man, I ain't gonna die, man, I'm good, right? Because once I reframe and reshape it, how I bring the information to you, your brain will process it totally different and spin differently. A lot of times when you watch the modern day economy, people are spinning. These lights are doing a dance. When you watch people in the modern economy, you see people all the time talking about what they will and will not spend money on based upon these stories they tell. You hear people sharing stories like, I spend money on this because I believe in, this is why I buy these kind of purses. This is why I buy these kind of cars. This is why I buy these kind of shoes. All you're doing is selling to me prospect theories. They're not thought out. They are totally emotional driven decisions. And a lot of times the reason somebody like, oh, you bought you some of those shoes too? Because in the end, you helping me feel good about my decisions or my alignment, but it has nothing to do with the value. This is important because I promise you in your business, your employees are going to hit you with this. We need this. We definitely need this. The industry's going to hit you with this. We need that. And you look at it has nothing to do with your bottom line.
I got nothing.
Does it make you feel good? But even marketing and priming, it doesn't even prime for you. It's just something that you bought into because this is what the industry and this is what I heard and this is what I was told. And you don't realize you see more of your money sitting in your office than in your bank account. Because once again, the person showing up at your office is not Mr. Rational or Mrs. Rational. Are they rational? I don't know how this. I'm gonna make it work. But anyway, the thing is that who's showing up is Mr. and Mrs. and they emotional. They don't work. Doesn't flow. Come a new pronoun. Need to fix that one. All right. Let me just see what the next slide is. We're going home, but let me see what the next slide is. Just what's up. So people think this is tight. People think it's in terms of gains and losses, not final outcomes. Oh, I'm gonna have fun with this next week. So I'm gonna get into examples. But this is all prospect theory, that your brain thinks in gains and losses. You don't think about outcome. Okay, I'll give you an example. Have you ever been in a relationship and you fight with somebody? Is that fight over the outcome, or the long-term outcome, or the immediate gains and losses?
Immediate gains and losses. Always
You do that
short-term. all
all the time. So now the way you move in your relationships has a lot to do with you go move in your business. Because when your gains and losses are hit, you're going to have this strong rationalization that you can't be moved on, but you're not thinking about the long-term outcomes. I just talked to a young man today about child pay and I was like, take care of your kids. He get into, yeah, but she gains and losses. She's taking this away from me. I'm losing this, and I only gain that. If that child grows up to be on drugs, it'd be your greatest pain you've ever received. You get where I'm going with this? Like, our brain gets hijacked with gains and losses. You are losing your business right now because you're making decisions around gains and losses and don't see the long-term outcomes. Go ahead.
Clarifying question. So we're picking up on this next week along with the group discussion?
No, that's be the week after that. Yes, it'll be the week after. I'm working on thinking from this to the end of the year. So I'm gonna have you so deeper. I'm gonna challenge all these thoughts that are very, very popular in culture. You're gonna realize these are anti-growth, scaling, building, developing thoughts that become they speak to our animal within us, but they ain't got shit to do with what we want. It's been betraying you all these years, and no one's ever sat down and says, mental models rule the world, and most of the stuff that impact us, you cannot observe. You can't observe. So when I'm trying to have a tip, when I say, hey, that's a flaw of thinking, it's really easy for that defensive person to be like, well, show me. Okay, I'm out. I'm not going to do this. Like, why would I fight to give you insights to improve your life when I just did, and then I turn it into a first level of battle? I'm already walking away from this conversation because there's 8 billion people on this earth. I'm not going to focus all my time on you if you don't want it. So as I go through these processes, you're always going to see so many flaws in your daily business decisions that you're making. That there's a theory that says as you learn more, now you know how to build that muscle. Once you know that your chest is small because you never bench press, you have a path, a plan of what you can do to build that chest up. But if you just think your chest is smaller because you were genetically born different, I got big bones, and other ones say I got small bones, that's why my chest is big and mine is small, then you think by destination, there's nothing I can do. A lot of our mental models is trapped in those stories. I was born this way. This is where I come from. This is who I am. This is my skin color. This is my age. This is my height. This is my gender. This is all bullshit. You can just all these layers, but you got to learn that these are things you have to develop. And by the way, in closing, you know where you develop a lot of this shit, people? At the fucking gym. Do you realize that all the shit we talk about right now, your brain has this dance of fakeness and realness? It's a constant dance you go through at the gym. Do you realize the level of mental distortions your brain actually tries to sell you that you have to overcome, and you get to learn yourself through this process? Knowing yourself is increased by tenfold by the gym. Fuck your body shape. I don't give a shit if you're skinny or fat. What I'm trying to explain to you is that and I ain't talking about going to the gym like that soft treadmill, easy walk, easy lift. I went through my sets and I'm tired. I barely sweat. You know, I don't really sweat like that. I'm talking about pushing when I go to the track and field and I go run my 2 miles, when I get up that morning, anxiety starts. When I get in my car, I start having questions. What am I doing? What if my knee I go through a whole fucking scenario and story. I get to the track and I'm still suffering from anxiety. I'm stretching going, oh God, hold up, old body. The cold part says, until my last 2 laps, my brain literally flips over and goes, sure, man, you glad you did that. You know you tight, boy. You do this all the time. This ain't nothing to you. Not for the last 30 minutes it wasn't. But all of a sudden, my brain would tell me whatever I said before, and I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm a different person talking to you. My own brain does that. Now, that brain is doing the same thing to you guys in business, but you don't notice it the way I notice it because I get a chance to dance with myself all the time going, oh, there you go again. Now you want to quit. Now you don't want to focus. Just because you read the book and you don't understand it doesn't mean you can't. If you don't practice, you won't get it next time. See, I developed these internal disciplines that allow me to push through all these business challenges and negotiation and all these other things at the fucking gym. And I've been saying for so many goddamn years, go work out. And y'all thought I was just trying to preach some ethics of the value of life is working out. No, what I was trying to suggest to you is that when you get into this dance here, which is advanced basics, and you ain't learned yourself, you're going to be the person who can tell everybody else how to make more money than you. With that being said, as they say in Hong Kong, I'll see you next week. Oh yeah, by the way.